play it again. And this time I'm going to stop along the way to break it down because we're not actually, the video's not that long. It's really not that long. So I'm going to go ahead and play it again for those that missed it. And then we're going to see what Monique is getting into or getting on about as far as GLP-1s. So the title says Monique sends strong message to anyone using weight loss drugs. Okay?
Thank you.
Hey, my sweet babies. I wanted to come on here really quick to just tell y'all this. Because right now, babies, they are pushing so much to us in reference to if you take this shot, you could lose 30 pounds. If you take this pill, you could lose this. But what is the long-term effects?
So the first thing I have to say about that is like, okay, what if it's true though? I mean, we know how we feel about GLP-1s, right? But let's think about this from a outside perspective of a person that may be genuinely concerned, right? I don't think she is genuine. I will go into that later. But hypothetically, right, let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say she's genuinely concerned about, she's as concerned with GLP-1s as some people may be concerned with vaccines or any other type of pharmaceutical. Okay. So she said, take this shot, lose 30 pounds. Take this pill, lose X amount of pounds. But what is the long-term effect? But before we even get to what the long-term effect is, right? Because I would assume if you're taking a medication, I would assume you've done the research into what you're taking, right? Like any other medication. But the question that nobody asks or even seems to have the answer to because it never occurs to them, what if it's true? What if it's true? What if you can take a shot and lose 30 pounds? What if you're obese, right? You're 100 pounds overweight, or let's say you're only 40 pounds overweight. What if you could take a shot and lose 30 pounds? What if you could take a pill and lose 40 pounds? Can anybody tell me why we would be opposed to that? I mean, I know we're not because clearly we're taking GLP-1s and we know it's not as simple for a lot of people as take this shot, take this pill, and the weight automatically comes off. We know that, right? We know it's not that simple. For some people, it is that simple, but across the board, it's not necessarily that simple. But what if it was? What if it was? Do you guys have any thoughts on that? What if it was just as simple as take an injection once a week and the weight comes off? What actually is wrong with that? If you take a blood pressure medication, right? Your blood pressure's through the roof. You take a blood pressure medication and your blood pressure comes down. What's wrong with that? If your hair is falling out and there's a medication that you can take, a pill or an injection or a surgery or something like that to stop your hair loss and actually promote hair growth, what is wrong with that? Okay. If you have some sort of other metabolic disease, I don't want to start naming stuff and then YouTube gets all triggered, but let's say you have some sort of, other metabolic disease or whatever, some sort of other condition, and you could just take a pill or an injection and that ailment either reduces, improves, or just goes away altogether. What exactly would be wrong with that? Reindeer says, how come she is not speaking about all of the other medications? Okay, then it's that simple. Sign me up. Exactly. Hey, Paul, how you doing? That's exactly my point, right? Like, why? Like, if somebody came to you, right? Let's say they were not misleading you or lying, right? Let's say science does what science does, the medical field does what the medical field does, the research field does what the research field does, and they come out with the magic pill, right? Matter of fact, let's say collagen. Let's say they come out with the magic pill that would, I don't know, double your collagen or your production, right? So you end up, let's say you can maintain your skin elasticity or you can look youthful for much longer. What exactly would be wrong with that? Whatever it is, whether it's cosmetic or whether it's medical, what would be wrong with that? Okay. Now, as far as her not saying this about other medications, this is the gaslighting that comes along with people. This is the gaslighting that comes along with people that choose to speak on GLP-1s that one, have not taken them or researched them or even asked any questions about them or spoken to people that are on them. Okay. Maybe from her perspective of being a celebrity, she's amongst a crowd of people that only that don't use GLP-1s responsibly. Maybe that's possible. But outside, but when she's talking to people, she ain't talking to them. She's talking to the rest of us. She's talking to her babies, right? The public, the people that are younger than her or whatever. So not only does she not have the same sentiment about other medications, it's obvious that she doesn't even know that the original purpose for this medication is for type 2 diabetics. I've asked this question a million times and nobody has an answer. And I don't think we're going to have the answer because like we don't feel this way. But for the outsiders, the people on the outside looking in, this medication was originally for type 2 diabetics. Are you telling me that the type 2 diabetics need to be as concerned as the people taking it for weight loss? Are we putting the type 2 diabetics in the same category? Are we telling them that, oh, they say you take a shot here, your blood sugar goes down. You take a pill there, your hemoglobin A1C normalizes. But what are the long-term effects? What do we really know? Do you really know what you're putting in your body, type 2 diabetics? Y'all understand what I'm trying to say? Like, why is it that this particular demographic of people is, us, we're getting all of the smoke? But let's continue because Auntie, right? This is Auntie. Auntie on the internet has some more to say.
What will it do to your body, your mind? What will it?
Sorry, but we're so let's say we're still working with the original hypothetical. We already know the first thing. It'll make you lose that 30. It'll make you lose that 30 pounds, right? She said, take this shot, lose 30 pounds, take this pill, do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so like, since when is weight loss a bad thing? If it's effective, she didn't say, but it doesn't work. They're lying. It doesn't work, or the studies have failed, or people are dropping, dropping out, right? Okay, right? People are being unalived. She didn't say none of that. She makes it sound like the weight loss is successful. So when you're asking what it will do, we already know the first thing. It'll make you lose weight, right? So if it's as simple as she's making it, why would that be a problem? Let's continue.
Do to us 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And yes, you may look like $1 million on the outside. And you may get down to that size 2 or that size 4 or that size 8 or whatever that thing is. But I would ask you to research what you're putting in your body. Research what.
This is where I'm going to remove Monique's grace. Because, we're a little vain over here, okay? So we don't mind playing into the vanity of it all and saying, yes, I want to be skinny. I want to be a size this. I want to fit into that. We don't mind playing into the vanity, right? Because people are going to say it anyway. But this is where I remove her grace, right? Monique has struggled with her weight for most of her life, right? Monique, when she was on the scene, sorry, give me a second. Sorry, I'm gonna lower my voice. Phone call. So when Monique was on the scene originally, she was an overweight woman, right? And I believe, like most people that have struggled with their weight their whole lives, you could just kind of come around. Except I ain't go through this. Maybe I just wasn't, I don't know, old enough yet. But a lot of overweight people come to this realization that they're gonna just stay overweight. So you may as well accept it and be happy with yourself and find yourself to be beautiful and all of these other things, right? Well, then Monique lost the weight. I don't know how she lost it. I didn't do the research because I don't care. I don't really think it matters how you lose the weight as long as you didn't hurt yourself or hurt anybody else, obviously, right? So she lost the weight. She looks great. Don't see a problem with that. But when she says, you may get down to the size this and you may get down to the size that, it sounds like she's criticizing people for one, wanting to be smaller, but two, she's criticizing like the idea of not having to potentially work as hard as she worked, which I don't know what she did. I don't know if she ever shared, but it's like, you don't deserve to be smaller if you didn't do it the way that I did it. You don't deserve to get unhealthy body fat off of your body if you didn't do it the way that I did. If you have this method that's outside of what I did, then that don't count, essentially, is what she's saying. So let's go back a little bit and then I'm going to let it play.
size 8 or whatever that thing is. But I would ask you to research what you're putting in your body.
Did you research it, Monique? Because it's like, what makes her think that people that are on GLP-1s haven't researched it? I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that haven't, right? But the average person is going through their doctor. The average person is working with some sort of medical professional. The average person is on YouTube and, you know, other platforms trying to get experiences from other people and information from other people. So what actually makes her think that people, why is it an automatic assumption that people haven't done the research when clearly she hasn't done the research? Now, one more thing before I let it play. What's the danger? Did she mention it? Did she mention what the danger was yet? You don't know what you're putting in your body. Take a shot, lose 30 pounds. Okay. Do your research. But did she actually mention what the problem is yet? Did anybody hear a problem? I'm not hearing where the danger is. I'm not hearing where the alarm bells are signaling. I'm not hearing where somebody's doing something harmful to their health. Talk with your doctor before getting on a GLP-1. But what's the actual danger here? What are you warning us about? I'm still waiting to hear that part.
Research what you're putting in your body. They got us caught up in trends. And well, if this big star did it and this big celebrity did it, well, I'm definitely going to do it.
Okay, so apparently we can't get medication unless we see celebrities with it. Apparently, we don't have an interest in medication unless celebrities are using them. Yeah? Like, what is she talking about? And who's the they that she's talking about? Like, you're gonna have to specify. Are you talking about the FDA? Are you talking about the government? Are you talking about who's the they? Can you at least specify the mystical they, the establishment, the Hollywood? Who's the they? Eli Lilly, Nova Nordisk. Who's the they? Who's the they? And again, still waiting. If it works, hypothetically, what is the problem? And what are you warning us against, right? What are you warning us against? Another thing that I don't like is when people call themselves trying to not even educate, because she's not educating, warn others of something, right? And you treat the people that you're talking to like they're dumb robots, right? So she's like, oh, because this celebrity did it and this celebrity did it, y'all feel like y'all can. And it's like, but who said that? I'm not saying some people don't feel that way, but it's like, do you even know regular people? Do you even know regular people? Because it's like, if your whole circle is a bunch of celebrities, then you don't get to talk to the rest of us. You don't get to tell us what we should and should not be doing as far as medications, right? Not once did she say, talk to your doctor. We're supposed to listen to her. Not once. This is supposed to be our research, listening to her. She never said talk with your doctor. She never said if your doctor's cool with it and then you're cool with it. And then if it works, okay, great. She didn't say none of that. But let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
This is what I will say, and this is just my humble opinion. They're taking away our willpower. They're taking away our fight. They're taking away our ability to say, I believe in myself.
She's mad. She's big mad. Okay, and I don't blame her. I just think she needs to fall back. Okay, I don't blame her. She's mad because when she lost her weight, she didn't know about this option. So because she had to work so hard and just say no, and she was able to successfully do it after God knows how many attempts, then why does everybody else get a pass? Why do you get a pass, Sunshine? Reindeer? Just say no. Just say no to that cheesecake. Okay? Paul, they're taking away your willpower. Who's the they? I don't know. Sydney, put down the cheesecake. Okay? You don't need a shot. You don't need none of that. Just put it down. Say no. walk away. Have you a little num-nums, okay? Just a little num-nums. But after that, just say no and you'll be fine. Because if you don't and you do it the other way, they are taking away your willpower. Pretty much.
I'm gonna trust the process, because if you can just put the shit in a microwave, if you can put it in a microwave, and what happens when you put it in a microwave? It loses all nutritional value. So,
Who wants to take a shot at this one? She said, if you put it in the microwave, it loses all nutritional value. I didn't know her and Oprah had beef, by the way. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. If you put it in a microwave, it loses all nutritional value. She thinks she's cooking. She thinks she's making an excellent point, right? Essentially, what I believe she's trying to say is, if it comes in a bottle, right? If it comes in a bottle, a vial, or whatever, a pen, right? Pill bottle, vial, pen, whatever. It can't be good for you. If it comes in a bottle or a vial and you can simply inject or pop it into your mouth, it can't possibly be good for you. Can't possibly be good for you. Just like microwaving your food, right? That's essentially what she's trying to say. If you get it the easy way, easy by their standards, if you get it the easy way, then it couldn't possibly be good for you. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? She thought that was a flex right there with that microwave. Oh yeah, with that microwave analogy. She thought she ate right there. She thought she was cooking. She thought she was cooking. I took my shot, but the cheesecake down. Did you put it down? You took your shot and put the cheesecake down. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. They're taking away your willpower, people.
I love us for real, y'all. I love my people for real. I don't love y'all just because the words sound good. And I know some of y'all have not always agreed with me. And even the ones that don't agree with me, I love us. And I'm asking y'all to love yourself enough not to be tricked.
Sorry, I was muted. Why is she so upset? Why is she so offended by this? Why is she so offended by this? And who's doing the tricking? Okay, I'm not saying Big Pharma doesn't lie or the government doesn't lie or the FDA. I'm not saying any of that, right? But unless they're hiding research, the information is out there if we want it. Sidebar. The other day, I was in here reading the entire pamphlet or insert that comes in the vial, not in the vial, in the box with the vial from Lilly Direct. Because I think we've actually talked about it before from the Manjaro perspective, talking about the ingredients and everything. But I really just wanted to see what information was actually on there. What I was literally looking for, honestly, I wanted to see if they mentioned like what happens between like when you go from the 7.5 milligram to the 10 milligram. What happens when you take that leap versus going from the 2.5 to the 5 to the 7.5? Something happens when you leap to that 10. And I wanted to see if it was in there, right? Like I wanted to see if they specified what that, like if something different is happening, but I didn't find it. And if the information is out there, then I'm just going to have to research it through other means. Maybe I'll have to read some of the studies because I haven't. But it's like, why is she so upset about this? I love myself for real to look after my health. Well, I mean, obviously this is speaking from ignorance, right? Because she's not considering, because she don't know no better, which is why she should shut up. Okay, I'm team she should shut up. She don't know no better, right? So she's speaking from a pure vanity standpoint. She thinks that people are taking GLP-1s just to fit a smaller size jeans. She's not considering the health implications. She's not considering the type 2 diabetics and their blood sugar. She's not considering everyone's hemoglobin A1Cs. She's not considering how dangerous body fat is because she spent most of her life overweight. So it's like, Why would you be anti-answers? Why would you be anti-solutions? And then she's trying to make it seem like everybody's brainwashed, but she's the one that's coming off as brainwashed since she only thinks there's one way, which is willpower. If she was put into a room with 100 obese people, Monique would learn very quickly to shut her fucking mouth. Okay? And I say this with no disrespect. If she was put in a room with 100 obese people that are not on GLP-1s, that have spent their entire lives trying to lose weight, she would learn very quickly to humble herself and shut her mouth. It's that simple, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. And she's trying to fearmonger, and she's trying to have an appeal to emotion. The only people that are going to listen to you are the same people that have never tried a GLP-1 or done the research. So they're in the same boat or the same category as you, ma'am. You're in an echo chamber. You talking to the people that feel like you. You ain't talking to us. We don't give a fuck what you talking about. We don't care. If you haven't already, please like the stream. Please like the stream.
Not to be tricked. Ooh, that thing had me today. Ooh. Because we're so easily tricked.
Do y'all think she's really getting emotional, or is this performative? Thank you, Auntie Momo. I forgot. I just need to love myself enough and don't be tricked. It's willpower I need to tap into. Absolutely, Sunshine. You get it. You absolutely get it. But do y'all think this emotion that she's expressing here is real, or do you think it's performative? Hey V, fam, only 9 likes and we have 19 people in the house. Please hit the like. Please, please, please hit the like. It is free. But if you would like to pay your way, pay to play, you can feel free to send me a cash app at cash tag a little vein, okay? It's performative. Y'all think it's performative. Okay. So I just wanted to see what y'all felt so I could take the opposite side to play devil's advocate. Okay. So y'all say it's performative. Okay. So I'm going to say she's not being performative, and she really is emotional because she struggles with her eating on a day-to-day basis. And she feels like her only way through it is willpower and prayer. So for other people to make it seem like it's so easy, it really bothers her. It really gets to her. So if this emotion is real, that's where I think it's coming from, because she has to fight every single goddamn day to not give in. It's a fight every day to not give in. And Auntie Momo, unfortunately, we all know what that feels like. That's why we chose to address our hormones. That's hormones you fighting with, Auntie. That's them hormones. Okay? And you know what? What I am team get the weight off in the safest way possible for you. I don't really care how you do it. Bariatric surgery, diet and exercise, GLP. I don't really care how you do it. As long as fasting, as long as it's safe and effective for you, I don't care. Okay? I don't care. Just get the weight off. But she's emotional because she has to struggle every day like an addict, like a food addict, an alcoholic, or whatever. So it's like some of us chose to stop struggling, ma'am. That's all. That's all. It's not that your way doesn't work, diet and exercise, if that's what she did. But some of us chose not to struggle, right? We still diet, we still exercise. No, people don't like the diet word, right? But we still, I don't want to put that on everybody. Some of us still have to watch what we eat. We're going to get into that when we get into my weigh-in and all of that. Some of us still have to watch what we eat. We still got to move our bodies, okay? But we don't want to struggle with the hormones. We don't want to struggle with that constant thought of thinking about food and having a fight with ourselves over a slice of goddamn cheesecake. We don't got time for that. That banana pudding is on her neck. That banana pudding is on her neck, Jen. I'm telling you.
Especially us. They could sell us shit on toilet paper, and if the right person's selling it, we'll say that's some good shit on that toilet paper. So please don't get caught up in the names, the fame, the money, the quote-unquote power. And I'm not judging nobody's decision because it is yours. However, I'm talking to the babies out there that is questioning things. Love you enough to trust your process.
Ma'am, this is a part of the process. Why do we not love ourselves for deciding to be on a GLP-1? Reindeer, do you love yourself? Sunshine, you love yourself? Jennifer? No. Paul, I know you up there somewhere. Do you love yourself? Do you love yourself, Paul? Do you love yourself? Okay? Because I don't know if y'all love yourself enough, according to her.
Love you enough to shut your damn mouth.
You know what's so interesting about this? Okay, Paul, if you're still listening now, I'm about to put you on the spot. This is exactly why I said we need to talk about your journey one-on-one. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Okay. Y'all ready for it? So I didn't realize Paul had a channel. Shout out to Paul and his channel. I don't know his channel name off the top of my head, but Paul, if you're still here, drop it in the chat. So I didn't realize that one, he had a channel, but Paul is also a paraplegic, right? And he's on a GLP-1, which allowed him to lose over 100 pounds, I believe. I think he was in the 300 somethings, 300 and some things, and maybe he's now down to the 200s. So I believe he's lost over 100, or was it 70? I remember us talking about it. Correct me, Paul, because I'm making stuff up. Okay, I'm lying on your name, all right? But he's lost a significant amount of weight from a wheelchair. Okay. So if I'm getting this correct, and if I'm not, you let me know. If I'm messing anything up, you definitely correct it for me. Now, are you telling me that trusting the process applies to someone like Paul? Because I already think that don't apply to me, right? I don't got time for that. Give me my injection. I'm going to leave me alone. Leave me alone. Okay. But it's like, first of all, she didn't describe what the process is, but based on how vague she's being, I'm going to assume she means traditional diet and exercise, right? I'm just going to assume that's what she means, right? So does that apply to somebody like a paraplegic? And I don't actually, Paul, I don't know your fitness level, so I don't know. So maybe the process does. Maybe you just need to quit a GLP-1, Paul. You let me know. Okay? But it's like there's a lot of people she's not considering here. There's a lot of people that she's leaving out of this equation, and I'm just like, trust the process. What's the process? And if it's diet and exercise, I don't even have a beef with that. But it's like, what if a person needs more than that? What else is going on in the body that's not being considered by regular people that want to run their mouth without even talking to a doctor first? Okay, y'all love y'all some you. I don't know. Y'all might be lying a little bit. I don't know. Paul, Jen, y'all might be lying a little bit. Sunshine about to go talk to herself in the mirror. Y'all might be lying. Okay, Paul's channel's in the chat. Thank you for that, sweetie. So it's like, I don't know. Like, we might need to fall back on some of the, do it the old-fashioned way. I'm not anti-old-fashioned way. I just ain't nobody got time for all that. And if you do it the old-fashioned way, then great for you. I have no beef with that at all. If you do keto, if you do calorie cutting, if you do macros, if you do exercise, whatever you do, fasting, whatever, I ain't got no beef with it. Get the weight off, okay? Because we are trying to be cute in 2026, okay? Men and women alike. We are trying to be cute and skinty in 2026, okay? Yes, we want our A1Cs to lower and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we want all that. We want the health, right? We trying to live till we 90. Okay? I'm just saying. Or maybe y'all, I don't know. Y'all, let me not speak for y'all, but I'm trying to be up there, right? Like, to me, like, I ain't gonna never stop being cute. So I'm gonna be 100, like, Anyway, enough of my vain moment. 72 pounds since I've been on the GLP-1. Okay, so I said 70. Okay. But since the pandemic, when I weighed over 380, over 100 pounds, now I'm 272. Okay. He lost 300 plus pounds? Are you sure, Jen? Total? Like outside of a GLP-1? 300 plus? Were you 5 something? Paul, you let me know. I might have missed that in your live stream that I was watching. All right, let's continue with Auntie. She's upset with us.
Love you enough that after you had that one piece, you don't need another. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. The white boy some banana pudding in here yesterday, baby. And I looked at him and said, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
In all fairness to Monique, I am this way as well. Okay. In all fairness to her, people that have potential EDs or struggle with sugar, addictions and things like that, food addictions. I understand this sentiment. Like, it's easier for me to just not have my triggers around. It's not that I can't eat them if I go out to a restaurant or go to a fair or something like that, go on vacation. It's not that. It's just I cannot have them around for daily consumption, nor can I have them around for casual consumption because I don't I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to casually just, have a couple Oreos on Monday and then don't have no more till Saturday. I'm having Oreos every day, okay? If they're here, if it's a family size, I'm having them every day, okay? So I understand that sentiment when you're fighting with your cravings of like, don't even bring it around me. But it's hard when you live with another person because they have to be able to live their life too. Like, there has to be some give and take there. So I understand what she's saying, but this is why I'm giving her the slight benefit of the doubt that that emotion might be real because she struggles day to day. So she's struggling every single day. Monique, child, you might want to do something about that food noise. You might want to do something about it.
Why would you do that? But it wasn't for me. Okay, so that's why he did it. And I had to walk away from it. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I took a little taste,
Little num-nums, little
a
num-nums.
half of a teaspoon. Because I had to get that thing up on me.
She had to get that thing up off her. Now, this is sad. I'm not going to lie. Okay. Half a teaspoon of banana pudding because you can't have more. I empathize with that, but I think that's a little extreme. Okay. But who am I to judge if she has some sort of issues with the eating? Who am I to judge, right? Like the stream, please, if you haven't already. Please like the stream. It is free. Okay. I love you all. You're gonna make me work for it. You're gonna make me work for it. So she is talking about like, I just had to give in a little bit. And it's like, a lot of us don't know to get rid of that mentality of giving in, right? It's not about giving in, right? There has to be some balance between having something simply because you want it, but also just being like, no, right? There are times you're gonna have it just because, and then there are gonna be times where you want it, and you're just like, no, I'm not doing that right now. Like, I got shit to focus on. Okay. I can't finish that whole meal. Whatever it is, whatever skinny talk logic you want to use, okay? But she's clearly struggling and she's taking that struggle out on the rest of us.
But I believe in Monique. And I'm going to honor my prayers. And my prayers was give me a second chance at motherhood, at being a wife, with my family, and I was granted that. So you think I'm going to mess it up? So I'm just talking to my babies that want to hear it for the...
Listen, I don't even think she's completely wrong. I think her, how do you say? I think her like, she's not completely wrong about being mindful and considerate of how far you've come in your journey and not throwing it all away. Okay. That is very, very true. But like, when she's like, you think I'm gonna mess it up with some banana pudding? You think I'm about to mess it up with some? And I was just like, girl, calm down. Like, I sympathize, I empathize, but calm. It's not like realizing it's not that fucking serious is the best thing that has happened to me in the past 6 months. Okay. I struggle with food. I struggle with eating. I struggle with sugar addiction and things like that. But it's like, hopefully, I don't know if everybody has this experience, but getting to the point where you're like, the sugar's not going anywhere. The fast food is not going anywhere. The things that you want, the things that you like, they're not going anywhere. Okay. You can still enjoy these things. I don't want to say in moderation because the traditional definition of moderation, that don't necessarily work for me. Right. But it's like, it's not that serious. The sugar isn't going anywhere. Okay. Like, it's not. And I'm not going to lie. I think losing 80 pounds has helped me get to this understanding as well. It's not that serious. The food ain't going nowhere. It will be there. If I want McDonald's, which I don't, it will be there. Okay. If I want to go out for some Italian stuff, traditional, a pizza, it's going to be there. If I want some ice cream, it's going to be there. It's just not going to be in a house. It's just not going to be in a house. Okay. So she needs to bring it down a notch and find her tribe, maybe like her social circle. Okay. To talk this out, or maybe speak with a therapist. Watch some content, watch my channel maybe a little bit. Okay. Cause she's struggling with a hard SK. She is struggling.
The ones that don't, get out of here. I don't have no gossip for you. I don't have nobody else's business for you. That ain't what I do. But I'm telling y'all about my business. This Monique's movement is working. So, we gotta get ready to tape another one, but I just wanted to come in here and share that with y'all. And I had to stall a little bit because he whipped my, he whipped my, y'all, he whipped my behind. So I love y'all, my babies.
Completely
I love
irrelevant.
y'all, I love y'all, I love y'all.
Completely irrelevant. But do y'all know what she mean by he whipped her behind over what? Like, did he give her a tongue lashing for having half a teaspoon of banana pudding? Like, I'm not understanding what she meant by that.
To my Urua community over there in Zimbabwe, Africa, keep going, babies. Keep going. I appreciate people that think of things other than themselves. And it is a brother and sister that left America and went over to Africa and opened up a school and said, we're going to pour into our people. How beautiful.
I don't even know what she's talking about anymore. So I'm sorry. That felt rude. I don't know what she's talking about anymore, but we're just going to leave Monique right there where she is because, I mean, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I do think she needs to be quiet and sit this one out, okay? I think she needs to sit this one out because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Even though I feel like anybody can speak on anything. Honestly, I do, right? Anybody can speak on anything, but it's like when you're coming from a like telling people what they should and should not do perspective, then you should to some extent know what you're talking about, right? Not just giving your perspective on why you wouldn't use a GLP-1, but more so telling people that they're in danger, but you can't even tell them what they're in danger, like what they're running from. You can't even tell them what they're running from, you know? So thank you to Reindeer for the video. Like, you sure do know how to trigger me. She does daily movement videos on her YouTube channels. That's what she means. Y'all want to go look? I didn't know anything about that. Let's go see. Let's go see. Let's go see. Because I'm not anti that. I'm not anti movement. Monique. Let's see. Live? No. Let's go to her videos. Okay, let's see. Hopefully I don't get I don't have an issue with playing this.
We become about 12, 13 years old.
Yes, and I got my towel.
She got her shit.
Yes, my shirt. I got my shirt.
Right.
We
I got
be
my shirt.
so excited.
Good. Here we go, y'all. We're going to a double tap right now. Good. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Let's go. 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 Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Let's walk. Go.
Wait a goddamn minute. This looks fun. I might have to hit some of this. My mom was a gym goer, a gym class goer, and she loved step classes and Zumba and all, like, she loved aerobics. I hate aerobics. Okay, 29 people watching, please stop what you're doing. Clavicle check, hit the like, okay? So I mean, this looks really fun. It's very upbeat, you know, and listen, there's nothing wrong with this, right? But like, what? Still not understanding her point. I'm still not understanding her point. Like, congratulations to her and good for her for putting in her effort to, you know, get people moving. I think that that's significant. I think that that's wonderful. And this looks like a lot of fun. But it's like, exercise is only like less than 10% of the equation when it comes to weight loss. Like, exercise is for overall fitness and strengthening your muscles and building new muscle and strengthening your bones and things like that, right? You know, improving your cardiovascular system or whatever, right? Making sure you can breathe better, right? That's what exercise is for. It's for overall better fitness. But weight loss, I wouldn't want to overemphasize the importance of exercise when it comes to weight loss specifically. It's more about what you put into your mouth, right? And then it's more about, you know, your hormonal state, and GLP-1s help us with that. And I just feel like if Auntie Neek was a bit more educated, she'd okay, that don't mean she got to get on a GLP-1, but she could potentially benefit from one to get that banana pudding off her back. Okay. Sweet Tea says she don't love her baby. She is hating on O whenever she can. Oh, see, you know what? O is part of the day. See, I don't really know. I don't really know about that. Like, I'm gonna take you guys' word for it. Like, I have no details. I can't even speak on it. But listen, okay. If she's talking to everybody else just to take a dig at Oprah, I mean, then she really needs to shut up. But this looks like a lot of fun. Shout out to her.
Good. Come on.
I don't know if my knees could do that though. Let's watch.
Take it out. Let's go. Bring it in. Let's go. Take it out. Let's go. Bring it in. Let's go. Here we go. Push it up. Let's go. Push it out. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
All right. Y'all gonna tell me this don't look fun? This don't look fun to y'all? I mean, maybe the style you wouldn't be into, but like, this is fun. I mean, this looks fun to me. I don't know if my knees could handle all that tapping, like, I don't know if my knees could do all that. So Monique got one up on me, but
come on, push it up. Let's go.
I dig the rhythm.
Push it up. Let's go.
And I will honestly say I would have been out of breath by now. I would have been out of breath 3 minutes into this. No shade.
Push it up. Let's go. Push it up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I can't breathe just watching this, okay? But shout out to her. Shout out to her, okay? That looks like a lot of fun. And yeah, like, we all need good cardio and muscle health too, regardless of if you're taking a GLP-1. I agree. Yeah, my trainer is always putting cardio into my weight training sessions, and I'll be low-key skipping them sometimes. Or like, I don't go as aggressively as he tells me to. I don't like cardio. Y'all, I cannot breathe. I lost 80 pounds and I still feel fat. Like, I still be out of breath. I could be 110 pounds tomorrow. You know who's still gonna be out of breath if I gotta do jumping jacks? I don't got the lungs, and if I worked on it, it would get better, but I haven't been working on it because I don't want to do that. It's hard. Okay. It's bad enough I got to do all this other shit. All right. So thank you, Reindeer. Okay. For that. That was wonderful. But Monique needs to just pipe down a little bit because she don't know what she's talking about, just like everyone else. Okay. So if you have any videos or anything that you would like me to react to, you can go ahead and send it to vanityreigns@gmail.com. Moderators, one of you, please drop my email into the chat. Okay. Vanity with an I. So now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about Dave on the pen. Okay. I want to talk about good old Dave. Okay. Good old Dave. Good old Dave. We're going to talk about Dave. Okay. We're going to talk about Dave. Now, I have not been keeping up. I do not keep up. So thank you to Reindeer that posted about this in the Venetian community, because I had no idea what was going on with Dave's journey. I don't know what's going on with nobody's journey. Hello, Teddy, you're late, but you support my bad habits, so it's fine. Okay. It's fine. And you have not missed the diabolical eating. Okay. We're saving that part. We're about to get into Dave on the pen now, but welcome, Teddy. All right. Make sure you clock in. So let's get into Dave. All right. Now, this video is pretty long, so we're probably not going to watch the whole thing. Probably. Wait, why is this? What is happening? Okay. So I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna let the video play, right? So Dave is another content creator, if you're not familiar with him. And he has been on the GLP-1 journey for quite some time. And I don't think he ever made it to his ultimate weight loss goal. Okay. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, don't get me to lie. I feel like Dave tapped out at like under 50 pounds. I don't think he ever lost more than 50 pounds, but if I'm getting that wrong, feel free to correct me in the chat. But I remember when I first got started, he was on the 15 milligram, and I think he was only like 20-30 pounds down and was on the 15. So he titrated up very quickly, just like everyone else did back then, because it was every 4 weeks, right? So word on the curb is Dave decided to switch to the Wegovy pill. And this video is called Quitting Manjaro for the Wegovy pill, okay? Now, he says in the video his overall weight loss. Okay, I don't know where it is because I didn't watch the whole thing. I went about 10 minutes into the video. Okay, so we'll see if we can catch it. But he said he's switching to the Wegovy pill, and this is interesting because I'm not aware of anyone else that has done this content creator wise. I'm pretty sure someone has, but I don't keep up, so I don't know. And I do recall hearing that the Wegovy pill isn't as effective with the blood sugar control, so that's interesting as well. And I have heard some people mention potentially being into transitioning to the Wegovy pill for maintenance to maintain their weight loss, but not necessarily to actually continue losing weight, right? Like in my mind, this would be stunting your weight loss, but I don't know. I haven't done the research. So hopefully he gets into it and then we will break down what his experience is going like. There are a lot of sponsored ads on your video. If you didn't know, give me just a second. I don't know if I can change that. Hold on. Give me a second.
Wegovy and most recently have been using the
stop.
Wegovy
Hold
pill.
on.
Guess what? I've gained weight. But that
Sorry. I wasn't ready to start the video. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Is that new? Did that just start happening? Okay. Oh, it's not gonna let me. I don't think it's gonna let me adjust that. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I don't even think I know how to fix that. Manage. Let's see if I can change that while I'm live. Let's try that. Okay. Let's try that. Let's see if that makes a difference. Let me know. All right. So he says in the video 50 to 70 pounds at the highest dose for 3 years. Okay. The comment pinned in the video is brutal. Should we go over the comments as well? What do you guys think? And if you haven't already, please like the stream. All right. So any tips? Sushi Fitness, go out and come back in and let me know if that's still happening. Like refresh your stream and let me know if that's still happening. Any tips on starting Wegovy? I'm starting tomorrow. Shout out to Ann Lacey for starting Wegovy. Now, my advice or guidance is generalized for GLP-1s in general because I haven't tried Wegovy, but I would say definitely stay in contact with your doctor as far as how your appetite is going, and don't be so quick to necessarily titrate up, right? Like with Zepbound and Manjaro to Tirzepatide, basically there are more doses, there are more levels. So I'm not really sure how it works with Wegovy, but I think it's the same sentiment, right? You start on one dose and then you go up until you reach the dose that's working for you. So really the tip is make sure you're eating. And if your dose is so strong that you can't eat, you might want to consider slowing down on your titration. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure that you are monitoring your constipation because if you get constipated, right, it is very easy to go a week. Well, I won't say, no, let me not use myself, okay? You could potentially go a couple days without going, right? And then you don't even realize it until you're like 3 or 4 days in, okay? That's me, but maybe everybody's like, no, I'll know by the first day. So monitor your symptoms, find a way to track them somehow, make sure you're eating enough, and if you possibly can, prioritize your protein and exercise, okay? I make a lot of goofy references to exercise, but I can damn near guarantee that a lot of us that did not take weight training seriously at the start of our journey, we wish we started sooner. Whether we got halfway through or we got all the way to the end, we wish we had started sooner with our weight training, okay? So I don't know what your physical, I don't know what your activity level or what your physical fitness level is, right? I don't know what you could potentially be capable of as far as exercise. But if you can, hit them weights. Not hard, okay? Just a couple times a week. Just a couple times a week to maintain your muscle and maybe put on some more muscle. Hit them weights. Don't wait. Prioritize your protein first when you're eating and you'll be just fine. You will be just fine. And then come back here on Saturdays when we're live and ask any questions you like, except medical advice. No medical advice, okay? That's what he said in the video. Came across him and finally watched 1 to 2 videos. Okay. All right, so let's get into this. I need to go back because I wasn't listening. So maybe we need to watch the whole video. We're already an hour in and we haven't even started talking about me yet, and I'm the star. Okay, so we'll see. If you haven't already, please like the stream.
I was on Mounjaro for about 3 years, and then about 8 weeks ago, I quit. I started Wegovy, and most recently have been using the Wegovy pill. Guess what? I've gained weight. But that's not the biggest change. I didn't realize how numb I had felt to nearly everything in life until I started to get the medication out of my system, and I started to realize how exhausted I was feeling. And for Lent, I'm actually going to be.
Now that's a fact, okay? Now I know y'all probably want to hear him and not me. Don't forget to go to Dave's page if you want to check out the video uninterrupted. Not now, okay? Not while I'm doing my commentary, but later. All right, later when I'm not on the screen. If you want to go to his page and check out the video uninterrupted, then definitely go there, subscribe, hit the like, and all of that stuff. However, this is going to be interesting because I didn't watch this from beginning to end. And it's interesting that he's starting out with how dampened his life had become and how fatigued he had become on Mounjaro, because I experienced the exact same thing on Zepbound, which is why I ended up dropping my dose. So let's continue.
Giving up all GLP-1 therapy and starting testosterone therapy. I'm going to do a full metabolic reset.
Yeah, but like hopefully he gets into why, because I think stopping all GLP-1s is crazy work. So let's continue.
Welcome back to On the Pin. My own personal journey, because let's just face it, I don't like to. I really don't like to, but I know that my struggles are important to share because there are many others out there who share similar struggles. So I want to lay the groundwork for this and say right off the bat, I'm not a medical provider. I'm not a medical professional in any sense of the word. I'm a dude living with the diseases of type 2 diabetes and obesity and really just trying to navigate this and live and show up best for my family, because that's what's most important to me. So if you're new here, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. I know that you're not going to regret the follow. Now let's get into my journey. If you haven't followed my
sidebar, guys, I might have messed up the stream when I was trying to mess around with the ads, because now I can't see y'all's chat. I can't see y'all comments in StreamYard. Give me just a second. I'm gonna go out and come back in. I'm gonna try to refresh the stream. Give me just a second. Okay, I'm back. Oh, that worked. Okay, it seems like that worked. Test. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all heard me? Okay. Wow, y'all were talking a lot. Okay, I'm not about to go get caught up on all them. I'm not about to go get caught up on all them comments. Okay, so thanks to Sushi Fitness, I have broken StreamYard. So let's get back into what we were talking about. Hopefully it starts to work again. Hopefully. All right. But if I'm not seeing y'all's comments, my bad. But let's continue. If you haven't already, please like the stream.
Journey before. There's a playlist that you can literally follow all of the updates that I've given. But if you want a quick flyover of where I've come from, I started at 319 pounds when I received a type 2 diabetes diagnosis in the fall of 2021. I started Mounjaro about a year later after white knuckling keto for a full year and controlling my blood sugar, but my weight, 7 pounds. That's all I lost. 319 to 312 pounds, and my insulin levels were still off the charts after a full year of keto. But my A1C had gone from 7.9 down to the low 5s. So I was controlling my type 2 diabetes. I just could not get the weight down. And so I started Mounjaro about a year after my type 2 diabetes diagnosis in the fall of 2022, which is when I started making videos here on YouTube. And I started documenting my journey. And really, my story is a really fast titration process up to the 15 milligrams. When I first started this medication, the middle doses were just not available. You couldn't find them anywhere.
Switching from 5 to 10 milligrams Mounjaro. So a lot of people over the last couple of months.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. I really don't want to go into all his backstory. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit and see where he starts to talk about where he is now.
This is in many ways the hardest video that I have ever done on this channel my entire adult life. After I gave up alcohol in May, I really had a tremendous amount of anxiety ramp up. My weight actually fell from the 280s in May. I believe I started at 288 and I got all the way down to 265 pounds up until about 3 or 4 months ago. This would be the fall of 2025. The weight started sort of creeping back up.
And I hate giving personal updates when they're not like good news. I really do.
And I also was starting to feel a slight correlation with the way that I felt in the days that I was taking my shot. And so I started to wonder if partially maybe the medication itself was contributing to some of the anxiety and panic that I was kind of feeling. It's important to stop at this point and say, this is my own personal experience. This is not going to be everybody or even the majority of people's experience on these medications. And I don't even know whether the medications are the culprit or not. I think it's actually probably a lot of things. The point is I had gotten down to about 265 pounds and then started to slowly gain back in the fall. And I decided to come off Mounjaro about 8 weeks ago and switch to Wegovy to see if that helped. I did have a really, really frightening experience doing that, where the hunger came back incredibly strong. So I went off MJ. Plan was to go off for a week. I go off for a week, and then the medicine gets delayed in transit. And so it ends up being about 2 weeks that I went without anything, which was pretty freaky, because by the end of that 2 weeks, the hunger levels that I was experiencing were unlike anything I've really experienced before. And so I decided to switch.
That is crazy work. Okay, so I have more questions than I do like commentary. Why? What? Maybe I should just let him explain it. But even with his explanation, in my mind, what would possess one to go from Mounjaro to a Wegovy pill other than for maintenance? And even then, it's like, we kind of know that, you know, tirzepatide does more than Wegovy, right? So if you're on Wegovy, if you're on some semaglutide and you switch to tirzepatide, that tends to be a decent transition. But if you're on tirzepatide and you switch to semaglutide, you tend to see doesn't mean for everybody. You tend to see a backslide. Okay, that's with the injections. Why we would go from tirzepatide injections to Wegovy pill when the Wegovy pill don't even work as well as the Wegovy injections? I'm just like, that is a potential for straight up sabotage. Okay. Hello, Mia. How you doing, girl? I'm sorry, the comments are super behind. Hey, girl. I've been on 15 milligram of Zepbound since last April, and I don't have an issue with what he is talking about. Yeah, it's very individualistic. I will say that. I will definitely say that. You're much better. Okay. All right, Sushi. So yeah, Sweet Tea says I was off turds for 4 weeks and didn't really get that crazy hunger, food noise. We are also different. Absolutely. Like we are very, very different. But this is what I wanted to say, and we're going to talk about it when we get into my eating, which is why I wanted to take my time with it. That hunger that he talks about coming back after stopping cold turkey, bless his heart. Because all I did was titrate down. I would not wish a cold turkey stop on no one. Now, Sweet Tea said she did it and she was fine. So we really are different. But I would not risk it. Like, me personally, after what I experienced with simply titrating down from a 10 to a 7.5 milligram, I wouldn't wish what he experienced on nobody. I would not wish that on nobody. So let's continue.
Which is the Wegovy pill. Again, this is more about mental health for me and just tinkering and seeing if I could reduce the anxiety and sort of the panic attacks that I was experiencing. And so ultimately, I went on the Wegovy pill in the middle of January. At that time, I was around 274, 275 pounds roughly. Right now I'm hanging out and this is from my Shape scale, right? Shout out to Shape, because they're probably one of the only reasons to increase in weight. So you can see I've been living in the gray zone. You can just kind of like feel yourself getting fatter. Dark gray, light gray shows an increase in weight. So you can see I've been living in the gray zone. And like I said, the actual Shape scale is the only reason I stayed on this, because I knew that I was gaining weight. And if you want to see an actual weight representation, you can kind of see back to a few months ago, back in November, 272, now 282. So you see that it's kind of creeped up a little bit. It's called Rybelsus. So theoretically, it's just higher dose Rybelsus, but a much poorer job, especially done anything super extreme while on the pen, so to speak. Definitely done some things to tinker with my diet, definitely done some things to tinker with exercise, but nothing super aggressive, nothing like what I would do before I was on the medicine. And people might say, well, why didn't you just, use the medicine to couple the things that you were doing before? And I guess my simple answer to that is that when I first started the medication, I was so fatigued of the yearly roller coaster of going on a diet, off a diet, onto an exercise program, off. I was so fatigued that I was just ready to give up. And that's just the blunt, honest truth about where I was mentally at the time. And I was ready to let the medication fix what was wrong metabolically. But I think in hindsight, once I removed the Mounjaro about 8 weeks ago, I would say about 3-4 weeks in, I really started to notice a mental clarity open up and a level of energy that I hadn't felt before. The only thing that I can equate it.
I have experienced this. Okay. We did a whole stream on anhedonia. It's not something that's necessarily talked about when it comes to tirzepatide side effects. They gave a warning of depression and unaliving thoughts, but it's not necessarily that. It's this, what he's describing, which we did a whole stream on. So let's continue to listen.
To was really when I stopped drinking alcohol back in May. I just started to notice the sun was shining a little bit brighter and the birds were singing a little bit louder. And when I went off Mounjaro, I had a very similar experience, just kind of to the next level. I just noticed that things just felt better. I was less tired, less fatigued. And listen, I am not ashamed of how I show up for my family. I'm not ashamed of the effort and energy that I put in. I coached my kids basketball off the Mounjaro. It's not that anything changed overnight, but as time went on and it sort of cleared my system, it was almost like there was a fog lifting slowly. And in hindsight, I couldn't see how thick it was. There were many times over the last couple of years, because I was on this therapy for such a long time, 3 years at the highest dose. I don't think I was realizing how tired and exhausted I felt until I didn't have the medication anymore. Now, mind you, this whole time I've stayed on a therapy. That's this GLP-1, right? But it's a much obviously weaker.
Can I ask y'all a question that's pure and utter shenanigans and nonsense? Don't worry, I'm going to ask it anyway, whether you want me to or not. Do y'all think this is for content, or this is a genuine interest in the Wegovy pill to continue to lose weight? What do y'all think? It's pure speculation, pure opinion, pure gossip, 1000% gossip, 1000% shenanigans, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm just curious of what y'all think. Do y'all think the switch is for content, or is it for a genuine desire to break a stall? Y'all are not nice. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. I was just curious. Honestly, my answer is I don't know, because I don't watch his channel. So I just was wondering, because advertising is actually a good point too. I was just wondering because it seems like such an odd shift. It seems like such an odd leap, but maybe not. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I know he's been stuck for a while, honestly. Okay. I think he's backed himself into a corner and trying everything to get back to having progress. Okay. People on Summer aren't talking about the mental health effects. Thought he was being genuine. Heard people feel sick the whole time. Okay. All right. Now, I think that these effects happen on tirzepatide because tirzepatide has the higher doses. I'm not sure what else is going on with tirzepatide that's causing these issues, but I definitely think it's part of it is the dose. When you get to the 10, 12.5, and 15, some people have no issues whatsoever on those doses, but others experience what he's talking about and what I've talked about, this unexplainable brain fog and this overwhelming fatigue, feeling like you've been hit by a truck 3-4 days a week, this lack of motivation. You're not depressed, but you're not not depressed either. It's like you're just kind of indifferent to life. You're not really motivated to do much of anything. And yeah, that's one hell of an experience to have. That is definitely, yeah. Sorry, I hit the back button on my mouse. Jen says, I believe David's too educated to believe that would work. I don't know why he did that, but I do believe some people, not saying this is him, I do believe some people take these leaps around for content so that they could have something new to tell their audience. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Therapy when you compare the clinical trials for the Wegovy pill versus maybe 15 milligrams of Mounjaro. I noticed that energy was slowly starting to come back, that my drive, and that means a lot of things, was starting to come back. Just my zest for life was coming back in a way that I didn't even realize that it was missing, and enjoyment in things started to come back. Now, weirdly enough for me, the enjoyment of food never went away. Like, I never was averse to eating. There were times, especially early on, when I would always tell you that I felt normal people full. I was eating normal people food, not diet food. And I was eating normal people portions. So I wasn't having to eat a ton because I was feeling normal people full. And that was really the sense that Mounjaro gave me. It was just a sense of normalcy when it came to eating. Mounjaro continues at month 5 to allow me to eat normal people food, normal people portions, and feel normal people full. But the thing that I always have felt, in fact, I coined a new word early on called terzepatired, just this fatigue that I would feel for days after the shot. And there was nothing really like it before. The only thing that I could liken it to is back when I was early on diagnosed with my diabetes and it was uncontrolled and I would have these wild blood sugar swings, I would get that same level of fatigue. But I think after living it with it for so many years on Mounjaro, I just stopped noticing how much it was impacting my energy levels. And so again, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I showed.
Yeah, if he was on the 15 milligram for years experiencing this, I don't know how, because I experienced this for about 6-7 months on a 10 milligram and I quit. I gave up because like, if you have this experience, it will make you feel defeated. It will make you feel like quitting. Like, it will burn you out. And then it's like, you start to wonder, like, am I tired of GLP-1? Am I tired of Zepbound? Like, I don't know what I'm tired of weight loss. I'm tired of the GLP-1. I'm tired of injections. You don't want to take your injection. You're just sick of it all. But I just think it's a result of the dose being too strong for some people. Okay, so he probably would have been better off titrating down rather than switching, but I don't know, because some people can titrate down and that restarts their weight loss. You know what I mean? Like, I can't explain why that happens, but it does happen for some people.
Up for my family, showed up for the community that whole time, but showing up and showing up at your best are two different things. And so what I'm really trying to shift to now is, how can I show up the best? How can I show up the best every day? And I don't know whether that will mean going back on Mounjaro at some point at a lower dose. But again, like, I think I did myself a disservice to get up to those higher doses.
But see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So now he's talking about going back on Mounjaro at a lower dose. So is this to give yourself a break from the tirzepatide? Because that I could understand, right? If you feel like you're just desensitized to it, then I can understand coming, like, I would have said tapering off of it or titrating down off of it. But I could understand your body getting so used to the tirzepatide that it ultimately just stops working for you in the way that you want it to, especially if you still have more weight to lose. But it's like, I don't understand why he didn't try. I mean, I get that titrating down seems counterintuitive, but like Jen said, Dave seems far too educated to not even consider that. Like, it would be, okay, for example, if I was having issues with the 10 milligram, I couldn't fathom switching medications before titrating down. Like, maybe there's something about the psychology of being at the 15 milligram. You just assume no other dose is going to work for you, because if the highest dose is not working, then why would anything below it work? I don't know. I have no idea.
So quickly, because I think I would have done better to sort of slowly titrate. And I have a problem with the way that these early obesity trials were designed to just crank up as much weight loss by getting people to the highest dose, when ultimately I think it's going to be more personal for everybody who takes them, especially on the obesity side. They are dose-dependent drugs in terms of the clinical trial showing better A1C control, better weight loss the higher in dose that you go. But these are designed for the masses. They're not designed for the individual. And the disease of obesity is a very individualized disease. Not everybody experiences it the same. Not everybody has the same hormonal things going on. That's why you see different responses across the spectrum. People who are super responders, who are slower non-responders. You see such a wide spectrum. And ultimately the point I'm trying to get at is, I don't think I gave myself a service.
Okay, let's slow down. Okay. Let's slow down here, Dave, and give the developers of the study or the creators of the study some grace here, okay? We live and we learn, right? Would we rather have not had the information, or information evolves, okay? So like, yes, is it highly annoying that the recommendation was simply to titrate up every 4 weeks because that is how it worked out in the studies? Yes, that is highly annoying. But I will say it is I'm gonna call Dave a pioneer. It's people, it's the OGs in the space that made me say, and they weren't even saying it at the time, but just me observing their experience 18, months ago, nearly 2 years ago, I was like, I'm not rushing to no 15 milligram the way these people did. Look at them. Hi, Dave. Okay. Hello. Thank you for commenting. Dave says, if you think I'm doing this for clicks, I can't help you. Well, my stance is I don't know. Okay. So if you want to get at it with some people in the comments, I'm not going to stop you. All right. We are all free to express ourselves over here. So if y'all want to spar it out in the chat, y'all can do that. But thank you for stopping in. So yeah, so the pioneers of the content creation when it comes to the GLP-1s, Dave, I almost called her Candace, Countess. Who else was is it Brittany Rose? I forget her name. But there was a lot of people that had these experiences at the time. Like they got up to the 15 milligram and there was nowhere for them to go. So for people like me that was coming in 18, 19 months ago, 20 months ago, it's like, okay, well, don't do that. And it's unfortunate because they honestly took some of the L's that we don't now have to take, right? Like now we know better. And I don't think anybody should be hard on themselves about that. Like, I don't think we necessarily need to be hard on Eli Lilly about that, but I don't think we need to be hard on ourselves or themselves, right? For those that titrated up quickly and felt like that was a mistake, we live and we learn, okay? Like you guys went based on the information that you had. So, stuff happens, okay? Stuff happens. So we understand now, okay? So, hi girl, this is not the first time. Okay, so Dave has been on Wegovy before. Okay, thank you to Erica for the super chat. I should have said that first, girl. Hi girl, how you doing? Dave says, sorry, I'm at a basketball game and just opened YouTube and saw this. I can't hear anything being said, only read it in comments. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna say thank you for stopping in. Okay. All right, since he can't hear me. All right, so let's continue.
To climb up in the dose so quickly.
What?
And so I've tinkered with dosing, with dosing windows, but ultimately I've been on the 15 milligrams or more based upon how soon I would take my shot afterwards for the last 3 years. But there was no higher.
Pause because YouTube rejected your. Oh, probably because I put an ass on. How YouTube gonna reject my comment from my StreamYard? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, now we can continue.
Level that helped me achieve better results. And I feel like the higher doses of the medicine at that 15 milligram for so long really dampened that pleasure reward
Please hit the like if you haven't already.
system for me. It was just dialed down. It didn't dial down food for me too much, but it definitely dialed down motivation.
Don't say that, Sunshine. I don't even work here. Okay, first of all, I don't work here. Y'all need to talk to Sydney. I don't work here. Okay, Sunshine, HR. I'm not here. I don't exist. Okay, I don't.
Everyday life, my energy, my spontaneity, my drive. So food was like the only thing I never fully lost enjoyment for, which is just kind of wild. I started to explore about a month ago the idea of there's probably a right therapy in GLP-1s for me. Actually, the answer is probably one of the future drugs. I'm trying to live now, today, and trying to extend my life today and trying to be better today. So where does that sort of leave me? And so one of the things that I started looking at, thanks to the nudge of like Michael Clanton, is somebody who's.
All right. So in all fairness to Dave, since we're reacting to his video, I'm going to read this comment and then I'll address it. So Dave says some people don't understand that obesity and diabetes are a moving target and these drugs are not a one size fits all. If y'all had been in my head for the last 6 months, you'd be changing things up too. Okay. So the criticism isn't necessarily for switching things up in general, right? And to be fair, I asked the question because I don't know. I don't keep up with the content. I did ask the question, do we think, do the subscribers, the watchers, the viewers, do they think this is for content or is this to break through a genuine stall, right? I know he can't hear me now because he's at a game, but maybe he'll come back later and listen. So in all fairness, I did put the question out there and my answer was, I don't know, right? Like I don't know, because some people have switched things up for content. Some people have switched things up for other reasons. But the leap from, you know, Mounjaro injections to Wegovy pill, just, it seemed odd. Like I don't understand how that was necessarily supposed to work. Okay. But in all fairness to the chat as well, some people did say you had been struggling for some time. So it's probably likely that this is genuinely to see some changes. Okay. So we're going to continue with the rest of the video. He can't hear me, like my take. So he's just responding to y'all in the chat. So be nice. Okay, guys, be nice. All right.
Encourage me to test this. There's many people in the community who have maybe pushed me over the years to check that testosterone level. And so I've just been thinking about just doing a big reset here, because ultimately I think the answer lies somewhere in between a GLP-1 therapy, more than likely, but also what are some of the other things that could be holding me back? And that's where this testosterone conversation comes in, because I got the labs back thanks to these nudges, and I'm going to be starting therapy with some medical supervision here shortly. But I've been exhausted for years, and I feel like my drive has been flat, and I owe it to my family to investigate that, and I owe it to the community to investigate that. And I want you to know that everything I'm going to do here is going to be medically supervised. I'm not giving you bro science. I'm not being anti-GLP-1. I'm just trying to look at the full metabolic picture here. And so just for those who may be curious, my total testosterone or free testosterone was at 59, and my total testosterone is at 241. Now, a lot of doctors want to see you up towards that 600 number. And so hopefully we'll be able to address that and address some energy along the way. And so how much of the fog that I've been feeling was medication, how much was hormones, and how much of it is just burnout, I don't know. But I do know that it's time for a reset for me. And so I want to, before I get into what I'm doing for Lent, I just want to again reiterate, because I don't feel like I can say this enough.
Sorry, guys. I'm struggling over here with my vision. Sidebar, sunshine. I went to the eye doctor and they said my prescription hasn't changed. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck with these. Okay. I'm stuck with these.
You should not take everything that I'm saying as the gospel truth about how everyone is going to be experiencing these medications. If you watch this video because you're like, should I switch to Mounjaro or Wegovy? I want you to use this maybe as a data point, but know that this is not necessarily how it's going to impact everyone. And my experience is unique to me. And one of the biggest mistakes that folks make on this GLP-1 journey, especially in the online community, is they hear a story, they think it's going to be them, and then they chase that same story.
Okay, so I would agree with this. I would have to agree with this. If you haven't already, please hit the like the stream, leave a comment. All right, so I would have to agree with this. It's important to always say that these experiences are unique to us, right? I'm not your doctor, okay? Go talk to your doctor and your local scientist down at the community college, because I can't do nothing for you as far as like what exact outcome you're going to get. So it can be, you know, okay. Sometimes us as content creators have to remember that viewers are simply that. They are viewers, right? They're going to say what they're going to say. And sometimes viewers have to remember that content creators are human too, and we are going to have our experiences. But I definitely agree that when we're sharing what's going on in our personal lives, people will take it and run with it, okay? So don't follow me. I don't know nothing, okay? I don't even work here. I don't go here. I don't know anything, okay? For as far as you know, I'm an AI bot, right? But things are going to work differently for different people. So I do think it's important that we still share our experiences, because I hadn't heard anybody else discuss, honestly, from their own personal perspective, the anhedonia. Now, to be clear, when I realized this was potentially what I was experiencing, I did something different. I titrated down and then added in a dopamine reuptake inhibitor. I believe that's what it's called. Okay. So I added in Wellbutrin to not up my dopamine, but allow me to actually enjoy my dopamine for much longer. And then I titrated down with my Zepbound so that I wasn't getting as much of a damper on that, reward system. So that balance worked out for me, but by no means am I recommending everybody just go get Wellbutrin with their GLP-1. No, I'm not. I'm not recommending that at all. Okay, so yes, different things are going to work for different people.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Just use my conversation with you today as a data point to have a better conversation with your doctor. So what am I going to do for Lent? I'm going to back off GLP-1s for the next 40 days. I'm not going to take any GLP-1. I'm going to engage in aggressive daily exercise. I'm going to engage in an aggressive tracking of my diet and make sure that I am not consuming especially highly processed foods or the foods that contribute to my blood sugar spiking, because at the end of the day, my friends, the Wegovy pill is not doing it when it comes to controlling my diabetes well. Mounjaro did. I have to adjust something if I'm going to go off of GLP-1. So I will be adjusting my diet aggressively, no processed food. I'm going to be starting testosterone therapy, and I'm going to do close monitoring of my glucose in the process to make sure I'm managing my diabetes well, because I want to know.
Okay, so getting off of a GLP-1 isn't necessarily unheard of, right? Because if you get pregnant, you got to get off of a GLP-1, or if you need surgery or something like that. So if I had to get off of a GLP-1, I've talked about this before, right? If I had to get off of a GLP-1, I would honestly just go back and do some of the things that we have been very annoyed by. And I know it sucks and I know it sounds bad, but I would watch what I was eating. I would make sure I was on top of my exercise. I would make sure I was sleeping and hydrating, all of the things that I was doing on the GLP-1. But I must say, it's not so easy when the food noise is food noising. And we're going to get into that after this video when we do my Lose It breakdown, because the scale has not been my friend this week, and we're going to talk about it, all right? Thank you to Sydney for the $9.99 super chat. Great topics tonight. Sidebar questions. Is that a potato on your shirt? Are we going to end the night with some skinny talk tips? We can if you want to. Okay, sidebar, since Sydney asked. This is my sad nuggie. It says crying but trying sad nuggie, okay? This is my sad nuggie, and because it's perfect for tonight's topic. You know what I mean? Listen, we still trying out here, okay? We might cry a little bit. We might cry a little bit, okay? But we still trying. We are hanging in there, okay? Sad nuggie with a smile. Sad nuggie. So it's not a potato, it's a chicken nugget, all right? I cut my carbs when they went haywire, and now that I'm off of GLP-1 and being very intentional of my diet, they're controlled. That's the beauty of a CGM. You can track and adapt. Okay. Listening to the live chat will be fair, so you can see balance and a fair discussion. Yeah, hopefully he'll go back and listen. If not, then it's fine. But I know it can seem like you got to fight for your life in the chat when you can't hear the context of what people are responding to. So hopefully he goes back and listens, but it would be up to him. And maybe I'll cut this portion of the video out so it's easier to go back and reference. All right, so let's see if we can wrap this up. He's gonna move forward with diet and exercise. 40 people in the chat, please hit the like and drop down and say hello. We have Dave on the pin joining us today as we react to his video regarding switching to the Wegovy pill and then getting off of GLP-1s altogether. Please like the stream and share the stream and leave us a comment.
What my body feels like when I'm fully engaged in the process. And then at the end of the 40 days, maybe have given my body a chance to reset a little bit from the use of GLP-1s and start on a therapy. And I don't know what that will be. I'll work with my doctor at Shed. Shout out Shed.
Thank you, Erica, for the super chat. She says, I don't know about the for content part, but the being tired and not wanting to do anything, I used to love doing, got me thinking about trying something else, even metformin for the glucose. I hear you on that. I don't know if you were there for the live stream, but yeah, that's part of the reason why I titrated down, because that lack of desire and motivation and just bleh feeling, it's exhausting. It'll make you want to give up on losing weight altogether. So had to go down.
Manages my obesity care. You should check them out if you haven't already. Tryshed.com, code OTP25 saves $25. GLP-1s as a tool, but also being mindful of the way they impacted my lack of drive, which could have been a contributor. Like I said, early on in the journey, I was so fatigued of the roller coaster that I was ready to let the medication do its thing. And then I think being at those high doses very early on, very quickly, it zapped my drive and motivation, ironically, to do the work. I don't know how else to say it. I'm sure the comments of this video will give you all of the feedback you need to know why I hate sharing about my own personal journey, but it's a struggle to control the disease of obesity and type 2 diabetes. All this stuff is a struggle. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to figure myself out. So I have never fancied myself an expert in diet. I've never fancied myself an expert in exercise, but I have fancied myself as an expert in me. And every day I wake up, I'm trying to figure myself out more. And I'm going to work with a doctor who's an expert in medicine to help me get there. I'm still treating my obesity. I'm just not treating it with GLP-1s for the next 40 days. And that's the plan. We'll give it a go over the next 40 days of Lent and see how we end up.
My bad, I was muted. So shout out to Dave and his journey. Thank you, Reindeer, for sharing that in the community. I think that honestly, I think it's a wonderful point to say that he's still treating his obesity, which is great because not all of us can stay on a GLP-1 forever, even though I would love to be, right? I have thought about this ever since the beginning of my journey. What will I do if I can't be on a GLP-1 anymore, or if I don't want to be on a GLP-1 anymore, okay? So treating obesity, I know, listen guys, clavicle check, everybody calm the F down before y'all start yelling at me, okay? I know we are GLP-1 groupies over here, all right? And y'all, we be getting in our GLP-1 bag, we be having tunnel vision, like, yes, it's gonna work for everyone. But listen, guys, okay, there are many, many ways of addressing obesity. This is just the one that works for us, okay? Addressing the hormones works for us. It works for a lot of people, but there are plenty of other people doing it other ways. So shout out to Dave on a Pen. Thank you for joining us in the chat. And hopefully he'll go back and listen to the commentary so he can get full context of the chat. All right. Hey, Andrew, how are you doing, guy? And did I miss anybody else in the chat? No, I don't think so. All right. So like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I never tell y'all to subscribe, okay? But make sure you subscribe as well. So now we're about to get into how my week has been on the 7.5 milligram and what my weight has been doing. It's been doing everything but cooperating. All right. Okay. It's been doing everything. So, you know, I got a little beside myself as I do sometimes. I did a midweek weigh-in. The scale was going down. So I did a video about it and everything was going great until it wasn't. So we're going to get into my Lose It logs for this week. I want to take my time with this. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you have any comments, it is not an echo chamber over here, so feel free to tell me what you're thinking, all right? So when I did my last video, in case you missed it, originally the scale had went up 1.5 pounds or nearly 2 pounds or something like that. Then when I did my video, I was down 1.5 pounds. So the scale was going back down into the right direction, right? But I continue to do cheat weigh-ins, like middle of the week weigh-ins, and my weight has honestly been all over the place. And then my final weigh-in was yesterday, my official weigh-in day. So my middle of the week weigh-in was 168 pounds. Somehow the scale managed to go up 4.5 pounds in a matter of just a couple of days. We're going to go over what I was eating in those couple of days. Okay. We're going to go over how I was feeling. We're going to go over my constipation and or bowel movements. We're going to go over when I took my shot. We're going to go over all of that because in case you didn't know, or you weren't here, or you're simply new, I still have 20 to 25 pounds to lose until I get to my first goal. I was successfully losing weight on a 10 milligram, but I was having other issues that made me decide to titrate down. The risk with titrating down is that I could potentially eat more and either stop my weight loss or even start gaining weight. However, the danger zone to consider is a 5-pound fluctuation. Okay. My body naturally, you know, can fluctuate in anywhere between 2 to 5 pounds without me having any cause for alarm. But creeping up over 5 pounds means to pump the brakes and we got to do something different. Okay. But I'm not worried until I'm not worried as long as I stay under a 5-pound gain, especially within a month's time frame. To see 4.5 pounds in a matter of a few days was very weird. It was very weird and it caused a little bit of panic. All right. So we're going to get into it. If you haven't already, please like the stream, leave us a comment and subscribe. So the last time we talked was on Saturday, and I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of what I've been eating and the fluctuations in my weight throughout the week. And then I have to give you my final weigh-in. Okay. So last week was Valentine's Day. I'm lying. We didn't talk on Valentine's Day. We talked the day before Valentine's Day. Okay. We talked on Friday. So Valentine's Day, I honestly didn't eat much. I ended up actually eating at home. I'm not going to go over everything that I've been eating because y'all have heard that a number of times and it's the same shit every week. Okay. I'm making nachos. I'm making homemade pizza. I'm eating chicken. I'm eating bacon and eggs. I'm eating yogurt and I'm drinking a protein shake, drinking yogurt. It's the same shit every week. All right. I'm eating some snacks. I don't need to get into all of that. So Saturday, I ate roughly 800 calories, which is below maintenance for me. Okay. Now, Sunday, and I believe I took my shot on Thursday at the time. I believe I took my shot on Thursday. So Sunday, I went up, I went up to about 400 calories. And let's see if I have any notes for this day. Nothing particular was going on, so I didn't take any notes. Nothing weird is going on. Nothing of note is going on. I'm drinking enough water. I'm eating enough food. No cause for alarm, okay? Monday, same thing, 1,400 calories, no notes, no cause for alarm. Nothing weird is going on until we get to about Tuesday, I believe, okay? So now, for some reason, Tuesday, my calories go up to roughly 2,000 calories. And I don't know why I wasn't paying attention at the time. I didn't notice it at the time. Now, my notes as far as my appetite is that this is day 5 after my injection. I was hungry most of the day. I was craving sugar and I was missing that full suppression of the 10 milligram where I did not have to think about food or have to think about cravings at all. The other note that I have is that I was experiencing, so throughout the week, since being on the 7.5 milligram, this is my 3rd week on it, I keep having these wild, like, bouts of unexplained food noise. Like, they're random. It comes up at random times. A lot of the times it's late at night. It's random points where I literally cannot stop thinking about food. I can't stop thinking about what I'm going to eat next. So this particular day, day 5, led to some late night eating. And I was wondering, I put in my notes, are my food choices causing this food noise, right? Like, is it because I'm eating sugar or eating processed food? Is that what's leading to the brain chatter that I'm experiencing, okay? So that was my first day, day 5. That was my first day reaching nearly 2,000 calories. And then Wednesday happens and I'm over 2,000 calories. I'm nearly at 2,200 calories, which is unheard of for me on the 10 milligram. In fact, it might have been unheard of for the entirety of my journey. Like, I don't think there's ever been a point, maybe within the first 10 to 20 pounds, but like in the past year, being able to eat 2,000 calories in a day, I don't think that has been happening. Okay. I don't think that has been happening. So my fiber intake, it's tracked automatically based on what I put in the food, but I don't look at it day to day. So have I been paying attention to it? No, but it is automatically tracked and I'm getting about 10 to 15 grams of fiber per day. And I should be at 20 to 25, which is better because I used to be at 0, honestly. So getting 15 grams is better than nothing. All right. So second day, this is day 6 before my shot, and I'm at 22 freaking hundred calories, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? And I posted about it. On my in the community because I looked up my TDEE calculations, and it said that 1,950 calories or more, and I'm in the realm of weight gain. So like 1,900 calories would be mild weight, would be some slow weight gain. And I think over 2,000 calories is like mild weight gain. And then there's like aggressive if I go to like 2,400 calories or something like that. So I posted that like I'm eating over 2,000 calories on day 5 and day 6. If this continues, then I'm going to gain weight, right? And I also weighed in this day. And I think this was the day that I weighed in and the scale was up 4 pounds. So I damn near panicked. It was either this day or the next day. Now, do I think a 4.5 pound gain came from like just fat, like just gaining body fat? No, I don't necessarily think that, right? But how fast it came on, even if it was sodium, like Sunshine said, even if it was water retention, even whatever it was, the fact that it happened in a matter of 2 days means that there's something that I'm putting in my mouth that is causing this massive gain. And that can easily turn into 10 pounds. Whether it's 10 pounds of fluid, 10 pounds of fat, 6 pounds of fat, 4 pounds of fluid, whatever it is, it's happening very, very quickly. So I had to pump the brakes. Okay. So I had a plan going into, so because I was, I realized I was eating over 2,000 calories. I'm like, okay, so I gotta plan out like how I'm gonna, try to eat moving forward. So the plan for this day that did not work out because I ended up eating over 2,000 calories. My plan was to limit my high sugar foods and see if the food noise returns. If the food noise is overwhelming, to take my shot a day early. So I was typically supposed to take it on Thursday, but if my food noise was overwhelming on this Wednesday, I was going to take my shot early, and instead of drawing up 50 units, I was going to draw up 55 units. Now, for my appetite, this is day 6 after my shot. 9 a.m., no hunger, no food noise, busy morning. And I chose to have a protein shake before going out for my busy morning because I was trying to blunt whatever calories I was going to eat out, because whenever I go out, I'm going to end up eating out. So I made a note that I didn't want to get caught hungry or with food noise while I was out and about. Now, later into the afternoon, I was, and into the evening, I was hungry throughout the day, and I did some late night eating as well. I ended up taking my injection early because I realized that I was overeating again. Like 2,200 calories for me on a non-workout day is me overeating. It just is. Let's see how much protein I had this day. 87 grams of protein, but nearly 200 grams of carbs. That's how you know I'm having a lot of processed food. That 200 grams of carbs, or nearly 200, didn't come from fruits and vegetables. Like, it's damn near impossible to get that high. So that means I'm eating a lot of processed food, a lot of junk, drinking my coffees. Yeah, it was a lot of cookies on this day. Remember, I had the issues with the cookies last week, but I didn't buy them this time. I'm throwing Tommy Smooth under the bus. He bought them, okay? He did the Monique thing. He put the banana pudding on my neck, y'all. So I ended up overeating on this day, late night snacking and things like that. So I said, F it. I'm just going to take my injection early. So I took my injection 24 hours early. Now on Thursday, it appears taking my injection early was a good idea because I was able to get my calories back down. So on Thursday, I had 1,200 calories. But here's the thing. Here's what I noticed. I had to be incredibly diligent, okay? Incredibly diligent about staying within my calorie allotment for this particular day because it is very easy for me to overeat. So I prioritized protein, even some fiber with some chia seeds, had a protein shake, did have a little bit of ice cream, but it wasn't much. It was like a scoop. And I had like 2 cookies or something like that. So I did snack, but I made I had to be extremely deliberate about what I ate and what I didn't eat and how much I was going to eat or not eat. All right. So I have a lot of notes for this day because of the past 2 prior days of overeating. So appetite, 11 a.m., no hunger. Sorry, I take that back. This was the day that I weighed in at 168. So clearly something was going awry. I think what happened was I weighed in at 168 and I was like, we cannot have another 2,000 calorie day. Like, we just can't do it. So weighed in at 168, based on the calories the day before, my body is definitely trying to regain this weight. Okay. So I made a note that the fact that I'm eating 2,000 to 2,200 calories, that tells me that my body is trying to regain this weight. Okay. Cause this happens with or without a GLP-1. You spend enough time under eating, your body will try to get that weight back. Okay. Your body will deliberately encourage you to eat more, or your brain, whichever one you want to choose. Your hormones will encourage you to eat more to regain that weight. And that's what I felt like was starting to affect me. Okay. So I even put my brain is encouraging me to eat. I tried to take specific notes, y'all. Don't judge me. Like the stream if you haven't already. So I made a note that yes, my brain is encouraging me to eat, but I'm still in charge of what I choose to eat. Okay. Now, when I was on the 10 milligram, I didn't really have to be picky choosy because I couldn't really eat beyond like 800 calories for 3 to 4 days a week. And then toward the end of the week, I could get to like 12, 13 if I really tried. But now with 0 effort, I can easily skate past 2,000 calories. If I do that for 7 days, I'm going to be up 1.5 pounds of pure weight gain, no fluid, no, like it's going to be oh, you put on 1.5 pounds of body fat because you've been eating over 2,200 calories every single day. And that weight, you know, those calories had to go somewhere, right? So I'm in charge of what I eat, right? I don't even think it's necessarily the amount that's the problem, because at the beginning of the week, you know, days 2, 3, 4, I was okay. Once I got to days 5 and 6, that's when my calories shot through the roof. So I made notes for constipation as well. This, I had just started to notice that I can't remember the last time I went on this particular day. I checked my calendar and my last poop sticker was on the 14th. And I'm like, is that accurate? Or did I just forget to keep tracking on my calendar? So I honestly don't know. I don't know if I went 4 or 5 days without going or if I had just stopped tracking. But I know on this particular day, I couldn't remember the last time I went. So that could explain the 168. And I did increase my fiber through adding some chia seeds, okay? Now I have a note about this being a dangerous, you know, weigh-in for me. Even though it's the midweek weigh-in and things could still level out by the time I get to Friday, this is not something that I'm taking lightly, that 4.5 pound gain, okay? Like that's not something I'm taking lightly. So I made a note that a 4-pound gain is a cause for alarm. I don't care where it came from. That's how you know I was pissed off this day. I put in my notes, I don't care where it came from. I don't care if it was, I don't give a flying flop where that 4.5 pounds came from. It got to go, okay? I'm not waiting until it gets to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds in my bank account. Like I'm not waiting. So I made a note. I don't care where it came from. Everybody stop what you're doing. We got to do something different, okay? So I also made a note that this is the point of multiple weigh-ins and that now it's time to reset, okay? So this is why on this particular day, I was like, you know what? Stop what you're doing, track everything, right? Track everything and stay within your calorie allotment. We're not doing 2,200 calories. This particular day, I ended up eating 1,200 calories, so that was fine. And the plan to accomplish that was no snacking in between meals, reduce sweet drinks, don't start eating until hungry. Now, this seems counterintuitive on a GLP-1, right? I'm going to get caught up on you guys' comments in just a second. So this seems counterintuitive, but because I was overeating and eating just because, I made a note on this particular day to wait until I was hungry to eat, which on a GLP-1, we typically don't want to do that because if we wait, we'll never get hungry. Well, that's not the case on this current dose for me. That was the case on the 10 milligram. I can't wait until I get hungry because I'll never get enough protein. And if I wait, because I won't get hungry until day 4 or 5. Well, on the 7.5 milligram, I may not be hungry all the time, but I've been given into food noise a lot. And even if I'm not hungry, I'm capable of eating. Like I'm not averse to food at all whatsoever, especially if it's highly processed. But this particular day, I wanted to at least wait, okay? Especially since I've been having some late night eating, I wanted to wait until I was actually hungry, trying to relearn my hunger cues. I wanted to wait until I was actually hungry to start to have, you know, a meal for the day. I finished my eating by 10 p.m. This worked for me the last 10 pounds that I lost. So we're, you know, instead of me eating till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, like I've been doing the days before, I just stopped. I just cut off my eating at 10 p.m. because that worked for me recently. And I noticed that my water, because this was like after I took my shot early, my water intake was slipping and I needed to get back on track with my increase in fiber. All right. So let me pause there because that was Thursday and then I did my weigh-in on Friday. So before I get to Friday, let me get caught up on y'all's comments. All right. Didn't you say your calories were up this past week? Absolutely, I did. Were you in your menstrual cycle? No, I was not. And Sunshine says sodium in poop. I know. Okay, I know. And what's your fiber intake? It's about 15 grams a day. It's about 15 grams. Until that particular day, I made a note that it was slipping. So maybe it was about like 7 or 8 or something like that. But yeah, it's about 15 grams. And I need to try to get it up to 20 to 25. I went up 15 pounds in the 5 weeks I was off it, down 4 of those pounds now. It comes fast. It comes incredibly fast. Okay. Plan your snacks to be more protein. Nuts are good. Okay. All right. I don't have food noise. I have food fantasies. My term. Interesting. Okay. Are you enjoying the effort to be more diligent in the calories you're consuming? No. Okay. No, I'm not enjoying it. It's frustrating, but I understand the necessity. So I'm willing to put in the work, but it's frustrating because I was on the 10 milligram, I was just getting around to not being afraid of certain foods, right? So I was just getting around to learning some level of moderation, right? Like learning that it's not that serious. You can have a little sugar, you can have a little fat. Like I had cut out my eating out to down to 1 day a week instead of 3-4 days a week. So on the 10 milligram, I was just getting around to not being afraid of certain foods. Now that I don't have as much of a crutch, I have to be very, very effing careful. I have to be put it to you like this. On a 10 milligram, I could have 2 cookies and be fine. Totally satisfied. 3 cookies if you're nasty. Now I'll have the 3, but in a couple hours, I'm gonna want another 3. And now I have to make a choice to not have them. Whereas on the 10 milligram, I wouldn't want it in another 3 hours because I already had it. You know what I mean? Like I was already satisfied. And plus, I wasn't getting that much enjoyment from food on a 10 milligram anyway because I was full all the time. Now that I'm not so adverse, now that my appetite is not so suppressed, one, I do enjoy my food more, which means I want to eat it more. I am starting to get reward from sugar, which means I want it more. You know what I mean? So it's like some of my prior habits that led to me being 240 pounds in the first place, they're now resurfacing, and I have to be very, very careful about just carelessly going throughout my day, picking at things. Like I can't do that. I just can't. So am I enjoying it? No. But is it worth it considering the anhedonia I was experiencing? Yes. If I had to choose right now, right, assuming I don't gain 10 to 20 pounds, let's say as of right now, that 4 pounds, maybe 5, let's round up to 5 pounds was the max. And moving forward, I start losing weight again more consistently. Is the close-knit tracking, as annoying as it is it worth the effort versus just going back up to the 10 milligram and having all of that suppressed with like 0 effort? I would rather be where I am now. I'll be wanting to cry at night with my sad nuggie, crying but trying, okay? I'll be wanting to cry at night with my sad nuggie, okay? Because not worrying about what I was eating was much easier on a 10 milligram. Now, not so much. And some of y'all gave me suggestions such as just take a little more out of the vial or order the 10 since it's the same price and just take a little less. I'm going to tell you why I'm not doing that, how it's been working for me to just take more out of the vial, and why I think there's a significant difference between the 7.5 and the 10, which won't give me what I'm looking for if I just take more of the 7.5 or less of the 10, right? Like I don't typically, when we think about dosing, we think about just take a little more or take a little less, but there's something different between those 2 doses that I don't think that would necessarily work for me. So I'll explain why in a minute. All right. No pooping for days would make the scale go up. I agree. And it's interesting that no poop for that many days, but you were still able to eat. I would feel sick. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, I barely remember what I did yesterday. So I don't know if I really went, because I didn't feel sick. So I'm like, have I been going? Because I actually don't remember. You know, sometimes things are on autopilot. So it's possible that I was going and I just wasn't tracking it via my poop stickers. So I have to be more diligent about my poop stickers so that I know. Shout out to Jen for the idea. I think you mentioned that you use Miralax, and if so, you might want to consider using something else because that Miralax isn't working. Have you tried Mygo 7? No, and I haven't used Miralax. I only use Miralax when it's like an emergency, like when I'm in pain and it hurts, then I will use the Miralax, and it does work. But I haven't used Miralax. The fact that I haven't used Miralax in the past week tells me that I haven't been as constipated as I might have thought, right? Like, so I think it's possible that I didn't actually go through 4 to 5 days of constipation. I don't think I did. I just think at some point I forgot to track. So maybe I went on Monday, but didn't go on Tuesday, went on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, but didn't go, like, I think that's what ended up happening. But either way, I'm going now, so it's fine. 15 pounds in 5 weeks is diabolical. I would agree. Yep. Yeah, I would agree. Menstrual cycle phase can impact the scale too. I wouldn't be able to eat more food. My stomach would be acting, would be aching and throbbing. Yeah. Okay. Sad nuggy. All right. So let's get into what my official weigh-in was. Okay. Because when I realized I couldn't remember if I was going, I started tracking my poops again. And I am going. So, you know, I don't know what happened with that 4 days because I didn't feel in pain. I didn't feel sick. So I don't know. Maybe I was going and I literally was just forgetting like on a day-to-day basis. All right. So I was overeating, right? 2,000 calories for me on a non-exercise day is overeating. So I was overeating for those couple of days, may or may not have had some constipation. Let's lean more toward I was, since I didn't track that I was actually going, we'll have to lean more toward I was experiencing some constipation. So those combination of things, my higher carb days, 200 grams is diabolical. Like even if like I'm gonna gain water weight and some fat or whatever, just from my carbs being that high for me personally. Okay. I can tolerate about 80 grams with no weight gain, 120 grams if I'm working out. But once I start to get above that, I definitely see my weight start ticking up. And that was before a GLP-1. So I wouldn't be surprised that if that's what's happening now. Okay. So I got my eating under control on Thursday and I kept my calories at 1,200. That was the day after taking my shot early. Okay. I took my shot on Wednesday. And then Thursday, my calories were back down. Now on Friday's a different story, which was yesterday, because technically this doesn't count toward my weigh-in, but I want to read you guys the notes anyway. So let me give you my weigh-in first, and then we'll go into my Friday notes so y'all know how the rest of the week ended and what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So that 4.5 pounds did scare me, but I'm pretty sure as usual, it was a combination of things, but I was not about to take no chances. So I got I got my eating under control the very next day. And I also took my shot early. So yesterday also was a good day. What is that? Day 2? That would be day 2 after my shot. 1,100 calories on purpose. I made sure to not overeat, but I did eat this day. So 1,100 calories. And let's get into my notes. So my notes regarding the 7.5 milligram. My appetite is physically suppressed. I'm emphasizing physically, right? In my, like, as far as my stomach goes, my appetite is physically suppressed days 1 through 4. So not shot day, because I take my shot in the evening. That's day 0. The following day would be day 1. Okay. So days 1 through 4, I'm noticing I don't really have much of a problem. My appetite is suppressed. I may have random moments of like food chatter that I was given into, but other than that, I'm okay. The relief from thinking about food is missing. All right. So how many of you have had this experience where you first get on a GLP-1 and there's this silencing? You didn't even know you were thinking about food until it's gone. I had that experience, right? That got taken to a different level when I got to the 10 milligram. Okay. And it was even out of this universe when I had the 10 milligram and the Wellbutrin together. It was like, what is food? What's that? I don't need that. What do I need to eat for ever again? Like it was crazy. But with sticking to the 10 milligram, when I got from the 7.5 to the 10 milligram was wonderfully effective for at least half the week, if not more, obliterating any desire to eat, any appetite, any food, any thoughts of food. I would forget to eat. Like the 10 milligram was wonderful about that. But that was happening, like you could tell it was happening in the brain, not just physically, but you could tell that experience was happening, like not psychologically, but like chemically in the brain. You could tell. Well, that relief is gone. Like I don't have that anymore. Okay. I may not be hungry all the time, but I still think about food. I don't think about food all the time, but more often than I ever did on the 10 milligram, I think about food. So for example, today, right? Saturday, when I woke up, I wasn't hungry. Thank God. Because like I'm on if I'm not even hungry, I don't even want to look at no food. Like, because I know I can overeat. If I'm not hungry, I'm not even bothering. So I wasn't hungry today, but my mind was still going about wanting these buffalo wings from Hooters. my mind was still going about what I wanted to eat when I did get hungry. I didn't have that experience before on the 10 milligram. Typically, I wouldn't experience that until it was almost shot day, like day 6, 7, then yeah. Or if I was late, then yeah, I would have that experience. But now I have that experience much often. So whatever is happening in the brain with a GLP, GIP, it's significantly better on a 10 milligram from my experience. I did decide to draw up more. I was able to get 60 units, maybe it was 59, but roughly 60 units out of my vial. And it's not putting me closer to the effects of that 10 milligrams. So what do I mean by that? So some of you suggested to just pull up more out of the 7.5 or order the 10 and just pull up less, right? And discard the rest. Well, as far as pulling up more out of the 7.5, that is doing nothing for me. That is, I don't know how injectable medications work as far as potency, as far as like strength. I don't know how these things work, but from my experience, right, thus far, from my experience, pulling up more out of a 7.5 milligram vial is not pushing me closer to the 10 milligram the way one would think, right? So the idea is don't quite take the 7.5, don't quite take the 10, take something in the middle, right? By pulling up more. So people have said, oh, if you pull up more, that'll give you an 8 point something, something or other, right? 8.5 or whatever. Well, that ain't doing nothing for me. Okay. Like it's not, I won't say nothing. It's better than me just doing the 50 units. I would say that's slightly better, but it's nothing. It's nothing compared to that 10 milligrams. So even if I am getting 8 milligrams or 8.5 out of that 7.5 vial, it is nowhere near as effective as that 10 milligram. And I find it hard to believe that the only difference is 2 milligrams, like, or 1.5 milligrams. Like, I find it hard to believe that the only difference between these two doses is just a couple milligram, and then magically the 10 milligram is like 3 to 4 times better than the 7.5 for me. I know some people didn't like the 10 or whatever, but like with my experience, it's almost like taking 2 completely different medications. When I went from the 10 to the 7.5, it felt like I had gotten my medication from a completely different pharmacy. It was almost like it didn't even come from Lilly Direct. That's how different the 7.5 and the 10 milligram feels for me, right? I am getting some appetite suppression from the 7.5. Food noise suppression is like all but gone. It's all but gone, but it's you know, it's really not the end of the world for me. I don't mind thinking about food as long as I'm not giving in to every thought. But I almost have no food noise suppression, right? Like none. Like I well, I won't say none because I'm not thinking about food all the time, but I am thinking about it frequently. So I might have a little. But pulling up 60 milligrams, or I'm sorry, 60 units or 55 units, it's not doing what people would think that it does. Okay. So I don't know what I'm going to do about, I don't know if I'm just going to continue with the 7.5 and just keep pulling up the 60 units, because I guess that might be slightly better than the 50 units, but people have, suggested just going back to the 10 because it's the same price and pulling up less. I don't really necessarily feel like going to get my prescription refilled or anything like that. Like, I don't feel like going back to the doctor to have them change my prescription. Not right now, right? I have an appointment with my doctor in March, so we can talk about it and see. And I really don't want to go, like, the idea of throwing away extra medication in the vial, like, grinds my gears. So I really don't want to do that. But we'll have to talk about that later. Let's see how I'm continuing to do on a 7.5, and then we'll revisit that later. But it's not the same. Like, it is not pulling up, let's say, for example, right? Pulling up 60 units out of the 7.5 vial is not the same as drawing up 40 units from the 10. And that's what people make it seem like. Like, either way, it's like an 8 point something, so you should be fine. And it's like, it's not, though. I don't know why it's different. That's why I was reading the insert from the Zepbound vials. I was hoping it was in there. I don't know why it's different. I don't know what's happening there, but it's different. So that's my take on that. The rest of my notes, I have to now have some rules around eating, okay? Since it's easy for me to overeat. I won't start eating until I'm hungry. We already talked about that one. And we already talked about how that's typically counterproductive, but considering the fact that I don't have a problem with eating, it is fine for me to wait for actual genuine hunger to come along. And this is to avoid eating out of boredom or, you know, emotions or anything like that. So I'm actually starting to wait until I'm hungry to eat, right? So that I'm not just casually eating throughout the day. And then I made notes for day 2 that I had no hunger at 6 a.m. I can't automatically maintain a calorie deficit on this dose, so I have to put in extra effort. I have to put in extra effort in order to maintain a calorie deficit. And by 3 p.m., I still wasn't hungry yesterday, so I ended up eating late. Okay, so that was all my notes for Friday. But before I even took all of those notes or started eating for the day, I did weigh in for my official weigh-in. Somehow, I'm back down to 165. Okay, I don't know what has been happening this week. I went from 164 to 168, back to 165 in a matter of a week. Y'all let me know what y'all think of that while I get caught up on your comments, all right? So Sunshine says 7.5 may not be enough. Who knows if 8 or 9 is your golden sweet pot, sweet spot without anhedonia. I don't even think that that's incorrect. I'm just not sure how I'm supposed to get that. Like, because it's not working with the vial that I have. Like, you know, like even pulling up 8.5, that is not, it ain't doing what I needed to do. It would have been interesting if you had tried staying on a 10 for a while after you started the other med to see if that worked for the anhedonia. You made 2 changes at practically the same time. Yeah, because the anhedonia or not, like anhedonia is psychological, but physically the 10 milligram was making me exhausted. It was too strong for me. I was not willing to stay on a 10 milligram. And in fact, it wasn't 2 changes at the exact same time because there was an overlap. I added the Wellbutrin first. Like I got the prescriptions at the same time, but I didn't get my 7.5 milligram for like another week or 2. So while I was still on the 10, I added in the Wellbutrin and all desire for food went away. All complete and utter interest in food, it just went out the window. And I'm like, I cannot live like this. I cannot live like this. Like, so no. Staying on the 10 with the Wellbutrin was not an option because I had no interest in food whatsoever. On the 10 milligram, I still had an interest in food. I just didn't think about it often, right? Like toward the end of the week, I'd be ready to eat. But for the first half of the week, I just really didn't think about it. I would eat, not really be able to get enough calories, but I didn't really have a lack of interest in food. I just wasn't hungry. I added in the Wellbutrin with the appetite suppressing effect of the Wellbutrin. All desire for food went out the window. So no, that would not have been a good option for me. The silence from the food chatter has been bliss. I didn't even know that existed. Yes, I would agree. Isn't Lily planning to release multi-use vials and pens next week for Zepbound? If that happens, then we can adjust doses as we want. I would agree. I would agree. I considered split doses, half the first day and half 3 days later. Okay. I said practically the same time. Okay. Paul says, when you were on that MAC 10 dose, how much protein were you getting? Not much, maybe 20 to 30 grams. Now I'm up to 80 to 120. So I couldn't eat enough protein. I couldn't eat enough calories. I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. Okay. So it just wasn't, the weight loss was wonderful. The food noise suppression was wonderful. All of that was wonderful. But like, you have to pick your battles, okay? You got to pick your battles. And for some people, it just makes more sense to stay on their higher dose. It just makes more sense for them. Fine. I have another 20 to 25 pounds to lose. I say 20 to 25 because it keeps changing, but I have roughly another 20 pounds to lose. And for pure and utter weight loss, yes, staying on the 10 makes sense. But for my desire to like have a good, comfortable life, that dose didn't make sense for me. And I am not anti 10 milligram. I love the 10 milligram. It's not without its flaws for my physiology. Like with my physiology, the 10 milligram is not the dose that I need. Don't get me wrong though, the 7.5 ain't strong enough, without a doubt. Unfortunately, right now, Eli Lilly isn't offering, any other doses, or like it was said, hopefully when the multi-use vials come out, then maybe something will be easier. But as of right now, the 7.5 is not strong enough. The 10 milligram is too strong. So would have been like, some things have been better since being on the 7.5, and some have been not as great, right? So I have greater food noise. I have more of an appetite. My sugar cravings are back. And I'm capable of overeating. I'm capable of overeating, right? Well, so I have to pay closer attention to what I'm eating, right? And how much. But my energy is back and more stable. The fatigue is gone. Probably cut by like honestly 90%, because I still get post-injection fatigue, but it's like a blip compared to being down for the count for 3 to 4 days. The brain fog lifted immediately. So with the overlap between the Wellbutrin and the titrating down, I don't know which one caused the lift of the brain fog. I don't know if it's because I reduced my dose. I don't know if it's because I added a dopamine reuptake inhibitor. Like I don't know. I don't know which one lifted the brain fog. In fact, I honestly started to feel better immediately when I included the Wellbutrin. I did start to feel better, mentally once I included it, but now that it's been a couple of weeks, I don't know. I don't know if it was the lower dose or if it was the Wellbutrin that lifted the brain fog. As far as like motivation, Sweet Tea, cover your ears. And Jennifer, cover your ears, okay? I have been wanting to walk more. I have been wanting to get outside. I have been in a better mood, okay? Again, the psychological effects and the emotional effects, is it the Wellbutrin? Is it the lower dose, or not necessarily the lower dose, but is it not having as high of a dose? Is it that? I don't know, okay? It could be both. I'm not really willing to find out by going back up to the 10 quite yet. I'm not really willing to find out. All I know is the combination of the two has me feeling better. The reason I don't think that, like I was saying earlier, the reason I don't think that staying on the 10 and adding the Wellbutrin would have been a good combination is because I immediately noticed zero interest in food. It was like, not only was the 10 milligram reducing the reward that I would get from food, but adding the the regulator for my dopamine, which is from the Wellbutrin, it was like, it literally felt like, what is the point of eating, right? When you're an emotional eater, when you are a boredom eater, when you are a sugar addict, you eat for your feelings more so than you eat for hunger. So when your brain chemistry gets addressed, it's like, okay, so what's the point of food? That's how it feels to a food addict. It's like, if I'm not getting a dopamine hit from the food, well, then I'm not it was like, I'm not interested. Not only do I not have an appetite from the 10 milligram, but now because the dopamine is being addressed, food ain't even got no purpose in my life. Like, that's what, I mean, that's being facetious and dramatic, but that's literally what it felt like. So I needed to bring the appetite down so that I could at least get the food in, right? That's why I don't think the 10 milligram and the Wellbutrin would have been a good combination for me at all. That could have been the cause of you're tired and this not getting enough protein. Having some go-to protein focused meals will help with the sugar cravings. Yes, so I made a note about that last week. If I'm protein forward with my meals and my snacks, my appetite is fine. It's not 10 milligram fine, but it's fine. It's normal fine. Like, it's kind of annoying to feel normal at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I want to feel like I'm wrapped in a 10 milligram blankie. Like, being on the 10 milligram for me is like being wrapped in a blankie, like being safe from the world. You don't have to worry about where you're going to eat. You don't have to worry about these things. Like, not to say that you could just eat whatever you want, but there's no worry. You're just wrapped in a nice, soft 10 milligram blankie. Okay. You're feeling all good. Okay. But now it's like, you better prioritize your protein or you're going to eat everything in sight. Okay. Like, you better prioritize the protein and get it in first. All right. Did she? No. That's not what I said. I said I've been wanting to. Okay. I haven't gotten there yet because I'm still stubborn. But I've been waking up like, because it's been warmer here. So I've been waking up like, oh my God, I'm ready to go for a walk. And it's also because like my days are so busy. I spend most of my time in the car moving from errand to errand throughout the day. And by the time I'm done, it's time to go to work. And then when the weekend comes, I just want to go to sleep and talk to y'all. So I haven't started the walking yet, but it's in the air. The feeling is in the air. Okay, sweetie, stop before I get back on the 10 milligram and I don't want to walk no more. Okay. How about that? Just to be an asshole, I can titrate back up and start being anti-walking. Okay. I told y'all, I remembered, I don't know where this memory went, but it came back. I remembered when I was in Virginia years ago before GLP-1, I used to walk all the time. I don't know how I lost an interest in that. I don't know. But when y'all was talking to me about walking, I was like, gross. Gross. Oh, see, they was listening. Reindeer and Jen. Yes, I was thinking about it. It is progress. I know. Cover your ears. It's progress, right? We're not there yet, but we're working on it. Shonda says, fiber and protein will help with the sugar cravings. Fiber is definitely the best for sugar cravings, though. Now, Shonda, you know what is my secret weapon now? It is the chia seeds. Because let me tell y'all, I think it was the day after shot day, right? After 2 days of just eating all crazy. I put some more so than I did in my video. I think in my video I only put half a teaspoon because I didn't know what it was going to taste like. Okay, guys, if you watched my video, the chia seeds was getting stuck in my tongue and in my teeth, and I was like, I wasn't really trying to spit them out. I was trying to get them unstuck. Okay, so I didn't spit them out. I was just trying to like get them unstuck. Well, I let them sit. Okay, the second time around, I let them sit for like half a day in my yogurt. That yogurt wiped my appetite. It wiped my appetite out. Okay. I put about, instead of half a teaspoon, I put 3 teaspoons, which is a tablespoon, into my yogurt. Them chia seeds wiped my appetite completely off the face of the map for several hours. That is the cheat code. That is my new ace in the pocket. Okay. In the hole or whatever. It's them chia seeds. It's the fiber. It is the fiber, okay? Now, I do eat fruit, right? I eat apples, I eat oranges. I'm still working on the produce fiber, but them chia seeds, okay? I might start getting my fiber more so from nuts and seeds, but them chia seeds did the damn thing. I cannot tell a lie. They sure did. Wipe my appetite off the face of the planet. I think she needs to watch some skinny talk videos on making time to walk. Yes, I do. Oh, thank you. Sad nuggy. Honestly, this might be my new uniform. I might just wear this shirt every Saturday because why not? Until I get the next 20 pounds off. I'm tired of having to find something to wear every stream anyway. So this might be my uniform for like a month or so. I don't know. But yeah, skinny talk. I ain't been watching skinny talk, y'all, because the girls be getting on me. They be getting on me, and I don't be wanting to hear that shit sometimes, you know? Like, I love skinny talk. I do. It gets me going. But sometimes I just want to be left in the dark. Sometimes I don't want to hear all that get up and move shit. Like, leave me alone. So since titrating down, I have had more energy to go to the gym, which has been working out great. I have been able to eat more, which works out great for the gym. However, we still got weight to lose. So I have to be mindful of I cannot even believe I'm saying this. You could never catch me saying this 18 months ago when I first started. I got to be mindful of my calorie deficit, okay? The reason I started focusing so much on calories is because there was a time several months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, when I was on the 10 milligram, but I wasn't losing weight. And it dawned on me, maybe I'm just eating too goddamn much, okay? Like maybe I've reached the point where I have to purposefully reduce my calories because I was on the 10 milligrams still trying to eat 15, 16, 17, 1800 calories. Because that's what worked for me when I was at my highest weight. Well, you're 80 pounds down now, ma'am. Like those higher caloric intakes lead to weight gain or maintenance at, maybe maintenance. So I realized a few months ago when we talked about it, right? We worked out my calorie allotment on the stream here. I gotta be mindful of how much I'm eating, okay? At 165 pounds, 2,000 calories puts me in a category of weight gain. It just is what it is. On a 10 milligram, I ain't eating 2,000 calories. On a 7.5, I will fuck around and eat 2,500. I will eat I will, and it's only 3,500 calories and 1 pound of fat. So it's like, okay, let me not go down that. Dr. Now will be not Dr. Now. Dr. Fung will be very disappointed in my core, like my causation of the amount of calories directly into body fat. I know there's more to it than that, but I'm just saying, like, I can't be eating 2,000 calories every day. I can't do that. Oh no. I'm glad you got a secret cheat code. Yeah, them chia seeds. That's it. That's it. My appetite start getting out of control. Where the chia seeds at? Throw me a tablespoon of chia seeds, and now I put them in my protein shake, which is not as good. It's not as tasty. The texture is very off, but it's better in the yogurt. But yeah, I'm putting them everywhere now. So how do y'all eat prep chia seeds? I drop them into my yogurt the day before I'm gonna drink it. I have drinkable yogurt. I guess you can make a chia seed pudding, or you can put it into a yogurt that you're eating. But I drop it into my drinkable yogurt either the morning of, like before I drink it in the afternoon, or the day before, something like that. Because I don't necessarily want to have to deal with the texture, and the yogurt masks the gel texture of the chia seeds for me. Some people were talking about like soaking it in water before you're using it. That's too many steps for me. I just let it soak in the yogurt. But some people drink it in a water, like they let it soak for 30 minutes and then they just drink it. But that sounds very gross to me. That sounds very gross. Are you planning any 24-hour fast? Yes, but I'm trying to get my cousin to do them with me. And now that he has had his DEXA scan, he's being very less stubborn about it, okay? So here's the deal with things changing. Oh, and Jen, you're going to get your way with the coffees, okay? I purposefully came on the stream with this one, because Tommy bought it, but two, because it's probably my last one until I go back to having them once a week, because I've been ODing with the coffees. But that 4-pound gain was scary. So for the next 2 days, I didn't have no. These be like 300-400 calories. Well, I get the medium, it'd be 300. Tommy gets me the large, it's 400. Don't blame me, blame him. So Jen, you will be getting your way with my mocha chocolates, okay? I will have them, but I will start extorting y'all on Saturdays so that I can have my coffee on Monday. All right. So the extortion ain't going away. It's not going away. I still want y'all to support my habit. I want y'all to pay for my coffee. But I'm just saying, okay, I'm just saying that I won't be having them every day anymore. Again. All right. Whatever. Okay. So back to the 24-hour fast question. Yes, but I'm trying to get my road dog to do it with me. And my cousin is very adamant about being in the gym and putting on muscle. When you're doing that, it requires a lot of food. The problem is my cousin also wants to lose weight. And I'm like, it's very difficult if you don't know what you're doing to do both. You got to prioritize, like work on getting that body fat off. So he wasn't really hearing me. And then he went and got a DEXA scan recently and now feels like a ball of fat. I didn't say it, you know? So now that he feels like a ball of fat, he's like, all right, we're doing this. Like, let's go. So he's not really into the 24-hour thing, but I'm trying to get him to start with 18 hours, and then we'll go from there. But yes, I do have some 24-hour fast planned. I just, trying to get my dog to do it with me. Okay, Turtle, Sweet Tea, let us know how it goes. I like it in the yogurt. I do. And it smashed my appetite to smithereens. Like, it was nice. I did a whole tablespoon and I just, I did it several hours before I had my yogurt. So I didn't have to soak mine first because my yogurt is drinkable. So I just put it in the yogurt and they softened up on their own. But if you're going to use it for other stuff, then yeah, I would say soak it first to make them soft. Please be careful with chia seeds because they will lock you up if you don't ingest enough fluids. Yes. So chia seeds work both ways, right? Because they pull fluid out, right? Like they absorb fluid. They absorb fluid, right? If you put them in water. So if you ingest them without enough fluids, they will pull the water out of your digestive tract and then you will end up constipated. So make sure you're drinking enough water if you're going to add the chia seeds. Start by adding them slowly, maybe a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons or something like that. But make sure you are dang sure getting enough water with them, which we know Sweet Tea drinks a lot of water. Is that a medium cup? This is a large. I don't order this. It's all melted now. I don't order this. Tommy ordered this. But I I order a medium, and the medium is like 300 calories. The large is like 400. And now that I'm going home to South Carolina, I'll go back to having them once. Well, not only that, but it will make it easier being in that environment to only have them once a week, because there's no Dunkin' in that town. There's a Starbucks, but it's several miles away. I kind of got to go out of my way to get to it. So I'm going to go back to having them once a week. I like the chia seeds crunchy. Yuck. 10 milligram burrito. Okay, a protein. Start my 36-hour fast tonight at 6 tonight. Won't eat again until 8-ish, 9-ish in the morning. Okay. All right. Get the protein milk at Dunkin'. You know, not everything in my life, I'll say it this way. Some things in my life are unfuckwittable. My coffees are that. I am not going to proteinify. I made up that word. Yes, I did. I am not going to proteinify my coffee. It's not happening. My coffee is my coffee is my coffee is my coffee. I will proteinify and fiberify everything else. But my coffee is unfuckwittable. Nope. It is full of sugar. It is full of carbs because of the milk. And I think the Dunkin' latte is like 90% milk. It's like one shot of espresso and the rest of it is coffee milk, which is I guess a flavor of milk. I don't add any sugar to it or anything. The coffee milk to me is already sweet enough. But it's still it's a ton of sugar. I shouldn't be having it every day. I went down to having it once a week before and then started getting a little complacent. So I'm gonna go back to having it once a week, but I will not turn my coffee into a protein shake. No. 15 grams of protein in a medium. Let's see how many grams of protein is just in this regular Dunkin' latte. 11 grams of protein in a medium, and how many is in a large? Which it doesn't matter because it's a lot. It's 15 grams in a large, but it's a lot of sugar. I'm not even gonna tell y'all because y'all don't deserve to know. But it's a lot of sugar. We're gonna fix that. Like the stream if you haven't already. Okay, I can only manage 18 hours fast max. Well, people say they can't fast beyond a certain point, but it's really just annoying to push yourself beyond 18 hours. I'm capable. I just don't enjoy it, right? But I know it's effective. I know it's useful. So I really need to get into pushing myself beyond 18 hours. Now, beyond 24, I don't really see the need to do that more than a couple of times a year. And I already did it. I think I did it 36, at least 136 last year, because I have forgotten to eat for a day and a half on that 10 milligram. I literally forgot to eat for a day and a half and was completely unbothered by it. So I have 18 is my standard, right? 18, no, okay, I'm lying. 15 is my standard because of what time I work and stuff like that. But yeah, I do plan to do a 24 at least once a week. So hopefully that will work out. All right, so that's my way in. I don't know what happened with the 4 pounds. It could have been the constipation. It could have been the eating. I'm pretty sure it was a combination of everything. But thank goodness we are back down to 165. Because I always say the only weigh-in that counts is the one every 7 days. Now, I might step on the scale in the middle of the week just to see which way we're trending toward. But none of that counts. The one that counts is the one at the end of the week. Because what if I had really gotten distracted by that 4 pounds, right? That could have gone either way, right? Either I get extremely distracted and feel defeated by it, or I use it as a marker, like, okay, now watch out now. All right, like, oh, okay, now watch out. So weighing in daily is definitely not for everyone. If it's gonna stress you out or frustrate you or anything, I would say once a week is generally enough time. So I want to get the actual number. My actual weight currently, honestly, I didn't even eat today, y'all. Today's the first day that I haven't eaten since being on a 7.5 milligram. And it wasn't even on purpose. I didn't get hungry today. Well, I'm lying. I just had some French fries at the start of the stream. But I just wanted some because Tommy had some. But other than that, I didn't get hungry today. So I didn't eat. I had my coffee and that was it. Oh, I didn't save it. Okay, it's not an app. Okay, it was 165 point something, which is great. All right. Love adding chia seeds to my yogurt. or overnight oats. Okay. I actually want to sprinkle it on my pizza too, because I've been doing the homemade non-bread pizzas regularly. Now, Sushi says she likes her chia seeds crunchy. I'm wondering if I would like that, right? Like if I sprinkle chia seeds on top the last 2 to 3 minutes that it's cooking, or sprinkle it on the sauce under the cheese before I cook it. I wonder if I would like that, because I'm pretty sure the seeds might still be crunchy. I'm wondering if I would like that. Yes, they are the truth. If you drink enough water. Trying to find a Nugget shirt on Amazon. It's at Five Below. I'm gonna save you the trouble. Okay, I'm gonna save you the trouble. I bought me one and I bought Tommy one. I love Five Below. I love their t-shirts because they always say something, you know, that's super relatable to me. But this one, I couldn't just buy for me. So I bought Tommy one too. And yeah, Sad Nuggy. This the one right here. This is me. This is me, okay? We don't even have to name him because his name is Nuggy. His name is Nuggy, okay? His name is Nuggy. The first 6 month. Oh, the first 6 months I did a 36-hour fast twice a week. That's dedication right there. I wish I was that disciplined, but I'm not. I'm going to start that back up this week. I'm trying to come in March under 200. I am at 201 today. I love weighing in every day. You know what? You're going to easily make it to under 200 in March. We are rooting for you. Some days are a little irritating, but after half an hour, I get disappointed when it's not a good weigh-in day, and then I move on with my day. I try to hold myself accountable each day. Yeah, like I can weigh in thanks to Jen. Okay, let me not give Jen all the credit. I used to weigh in daily, and then I got tired of it because there was too much fluctuation. So I started weighing in weekly, and then Jen started asking me to cheat in the middle of the week for trends. And now it was honestly like a month and a half ago, and I still keep blaming her for it because now I can't stop. So I'm actually weighing in like 3 times a week. And the middle of the week has been helping me just see which way I'm trending toward. Like I weighed in at 168. I shut everything, like I shut down all the snacking and all the, drinking of the coffee the very next day. And then when I weighed in the following day, I was already back down, probably because of going to the bathroom or fluid or whatever. I was already back down another pound nearly. So sometimes you can see those changes overnight. And it can be either motivating, or it can be like, "Ooh, yeah, that's what you get for eating cookies and ice cream at 1 o'clock in the morning. See what you did? Do you see what you did there?" Okay. So that's pretty much it. Unless y'all have something else.